to another edition of, I almost called it Thirsty Thursday. I don't know what the hell I was thinking there. Sorry. To another edition of, what was this again? I almost called it Thirsty Thursday. I don't know what the hell I was thinking there.
Shifted.
Sorry. What? Another edition of, what was this again? What? Whoa! What? Why did we just hear that twice?
Somebody has their YouTube on.
Echo.
Oh man, that's
Why
crazy.
didn't you just call yourself Hebrew 77 again? So then you wouldn't be messing up all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
You're throwing yourself off, my man.
Oh man, what a way to start the show.
Hey, we like to come out with a bang. Leave them one.
Right. Welcome to Shifty Sunday. I think that's the name of the show, right?
Yeah, last time I checked.
I believe so.
It's already got a little shifty.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, being shifty.
Wait, I thought the hokey pokey is what it was all about. Now I'm confused.
Oh yeah.
Good. Well, now it's the shifty pokey.
Maybe it's the pokey hokey now.
Oh,
Maybe that's what it's all about.
it's changed. It was the hokey pokey, now it's the pokey hokey. Instead of sticking your left leg in and putting your left arm out, or putting your left leg in and shaking it all about. I don't know. Where was I going with that again?
I don't know. I think you just better turn yourself around.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
So what's going on, guys? What's going on, Sagittariusly speaking and Armor Up? How you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Well, apparently not so good.
Oh no.
I think I got.
You just want to end this broadcast and start all over. We can do that if you want.
Let's rewind it and start all over again.
Oh shoot, we can't end it now. We got a watcher. Son of a gun. Hi SS, welcome.
Oh, I better get the
Little S, big S. Hello there.
comments. No, that's not it.
I think we should start calling him Shifty S.
Shifty S. Yeah, he's always watching Shifty Sunday, so why not? Maybe that's what it stands for. You don't know.
Shifty S, we don't know. No one
It might
knows.
just be him showing support. Yeah.
Hey, look at there. I didn't mean to do that, but it just came up like that.
Yeah, you can do that. You didn't know that?
No, I noticed Dan was doing that last.
Click
not
again,
last-
it'll go away.
Do what
you can-
now?
Whatever comment you want. It's pretty cool.
Hmm.
It's good for if there's a question, you can highlight the question. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Pretty cool. You know what I mean, Vern?
No, no, mine.
Vern. Did we lose Vern? He shifted. Ladies and gentlemen, we've lost the Hebrew. Please stand by. Saji, do we still have?
I'm still here.
All right.
Hey, can you guys not hear me?
Oh, there he
Hear you
is.
now?
Oh,
He
okay.
broke out.
Well, we know that Sagittariusly speaking is here because we can see his echo.
You can see my echo?
Yeah, see it.
Wow.
It's so loud, it reverberates off the walls, and it does the noise thing, like in Charlie Brown, the Snoopy show, the Peanuts, where they would when they would yell at each other so loud, like the words would go through.
Okay.
Slow start. Anyway, so I do believe we have a big question to ask you guys before we get started, and then we got a lot of things. We got a lot.
Well, you also may want to give them an update on the contest.
Well, we'll have that later on in the show when we got more watching.
Okay.
Yeah, I want an update too. Do we have any entries other than the couple so far?
Just the
Okay,
two.
we'll wait later. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm eager to know myself.
We'll find that out later and show you. Yeah, so far we only have two. I could name those two real quick though, even though they're not here. Jocko and Euler Greg are the only ones so far who have left entries. Unless you guys gotten any emails?
No, I haven't got anything.
I haven't.
I haven't checked the comment section of last week's video yet either.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're supposed to check the comment section.
Well, I did.
There.
There was only two when I checked it.
That ain't the comments. That was the chat.
Oh, the comment section. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you respond to the people who are nice enough to support you. Your comments, I try to respond to everyone with a thumbs up and a little hearty sign.
Yep.
And the Father's love and blessings. It's the least I can do.
I don't have enough of those. I don't have enough of those comments. I don't think I have any comments from that show. Let me check real quick. When was that show?
Last Sunday.
Sunday.
Oh, I forgot to send our very special guest the link, by the way.
We got a very special guest.
Huh?
We got a very special guest?
Yes, we might have a very special guest.
Man, the surprises never end.
I know, they never cease.
I'm loving it.
I didn't want to mention it because
Morgan Freeman actually decided to come on.
You really? What? Morgan Freeman?
Yeah.
Did you tell him I said hi?
Yeah, he said he watches your show.
Awesome. He needs it.
Yeah. He said he mother effing loved it.
Morgan. He's a kidder, that guy. Always in character. The Morgan man.
Hold on a second. Let me check.
I know he meant Morgan Freeman loves it. I know what he meant. It's an inside joke between me and the Freed.
Oh, okay. Let me send this person.
Hey, Jocko in the house. Heidi, Jocko.
Oh, Mr. Jocko's in the house?
The wrench. Sporting the wrench.
Well, I didn't know that.
He says smiley hi.
Smiley face hi.
Oh, okay. I got you. I
don't know what the emoticons mean, so I just make up my own. That's smile.
I thought you were saying that someone in the chat was named Smiley and that they were high. So I don't know.
I didn't know if Smiley was high. Of course, that would be why it would be named Smiley, probably. So,
right.
Clue, maybe.
And it could, that would be a whole chicken and the egg conundrum right there. Because maybe he's smiling because he is high.
Yep. Or maybe he got high because he was smiling.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a good smile will bring on a natural high.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, as I was saying, I put my microphone up to my mouth. We may or may not have a special guest come in here tonight. But with that being said, I will give you guys a hint as to who that might or might not be, but I don't want to get everybody's hopes up.
Well, I have high hopes. Nothing but high hopes. Apple pie in the sky hopes.
But here's what, let me give you a hint to who this might or might not be, okay? All right. Sometimes you drink it and other people call it different things. Sometimes it's very bubbly. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Oh, yeah, I think I might know who it is.
That's good. Who did that?
Well, who is known for doing that when he shouts that particular individual out?
Of course, I should have guessed. Well, I'm going to take down this thing here, and we're going to put up this. There it is.
All right. Jocko, your name is in lights.
Smiley wave.
That wave looks like it's got a candy bar in its hand or something. There's something in there.
That's money.
Oh yeah, that's what that is.
I don't know.
No, that's what it kind of looks like, though.
Maybe it's
Oh,
a story.
it's a Kit Kat bar without the dash in it.
Ooh, speaking
I
of
think it's celery. He's trying to help us be healthy. Eat more celery.
that, right? You know what? I used to eat peanut butter and celery all the time, but you know what? The problem I always had is the strands would end up in my teeth, and I always hated that stringy feeling in my teeth. Ugh, I hated that.
Nature's floss, baby. Nature's floss.
Oh, there you go. I guess you could. Yeah, you could say that.
Mm-hmm.
Use it for floss. So we have many topics to cover tonight, and a lot of time to do it in, of course. But Sagittariusly speaking, do you want to get into anything right now, or you want to wait until maybe we have a little bit more people?
It's really up to you guys. I mean, whatever you guys want to do.
I mean, there's nothing like the present, right?
Right. All right. Well, what would you like to go over first? Let's start off with the let me see if I can find my notes
I
here.
think I know which one he's going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
How much you want to bet it's going to be the one thing that's shorter than the other thing?
Wow, you really narrowed it down.
What do you think? Well, I thought it would be the one thing that might be longer than the other thing. Actually,
Oh, really?
one of us will be right.
Right. Well, I don't want to give anything away by saying what it is. I want the audience to be surprised, but at the same time, I think it might be the lesser thing.
You
Save
know,
big shocker for the finale.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
the finale is always story time. So I hope all this stuff he's been getting ready, he didn't forget my story because
Oh,
time with Saji.
Saji, you didn't forget our story, did you?
I didn't forget it.
All right. Cool.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, lay it on us. What are we starting with? Hit us up.
Well, considering my notes are all like out of order, I think I'll just start at the end and work my way to the beginning. How's that sound?
Sounds like this show out of order.
Right.
All right, well, let's talk about whatever I turn this next page to. That's what we're talking about.
Hebrew 77 here. Oh, wait, no.
All right, so we're going to talk about how the United States may possibly be.
I'm going to mute myself while he's telling this, or I'll get myself in trouble.
For the record, I right. This is the one that's longer than the other one, I believe. So this is the one.
Yeah,
I thought
probably.
For the record.
It's basically I'm coming up with the notion that it's possible that the United States pretends to be a country.
This is the
but
one.
we're really a corporation.
This is the one I thought he was going to read.
See, we was both right then.
Right.
But I thought you were muting up so we could hear the story.
Oh, yeah, I better keep my mouth shut now. All right, you got it.
But I can't find the first page of my notes. Okay, here it is. England, Canada, Australia, and many other lands They are led politically by prime ministers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Canada.
Yeah, prime ministers to the queen. In fact, she is the head of 123 Commonwealth countries. However, America, Russia have presidents and vice presidents. Corporations have presidents and vice presidents. The U.S. has a White House. The Russian president rules from a White House. The Jesuits have a White House. England has a White Hall, which you've ever seen images of the White Hall. I would recommend you Google it if you're ever really interested in seeing what it looks like. It looks like a Masonic hall, or um, one of those VS, a nice, a nice military hall, or one of those VSOP halls. Or what am I trying to say? Like the halls, like where the all your little legions and little Masonic, what was the name of the thing Fred and Barney went to, the Buffalo Lodge? You know what I'm talking about? Those kind of halls.
Yeah, yep, yep. The buffalo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
your elks, your mooses, they're all basically
yeah,
Masonic type clubs.
yeah, they got the black and white tile
They-
floors and all the esoteric symbolism on the walls and blah blah blah. Um, the original 13 colonies were originally called companies. Military units are called companies. Uh, and then the U.S. Um, we the, the U.S. like a corporation. Okay, we have a patriotic song called "The Star Spangled Banner." A banner is a corporate advertisement. It's and then we went through like when we were leaving Britain. Supposedly we're fighting that that war to separate ourselves from independence of Britain. Why did we, if we're so wanting to be so far separated, why did we choose the same three colors for our flag? Why is it essentially a red, white, and blue flag? Color switched around a little bit, and some stars added to represent the states. Originally, I think they only put a few stars on there, and as the states grew, they added more stars. A lot of times in corporations, stars are used to signify different divisions of the company or the corporation. Um, and then you have this U.S. flag. Whenever you're in a federal building, a federal school, or a federal court, it has a gold trim around it. The gold trim around this flag, and when the president's giving his speeches, a lot of times you'll see the flag with the gold trim around it. And the gold trim represents that court, or that building, or um, that particular um, place is under Britain maritime law. And you basically have two major laws of the land, or of the earth. You have the law of the land, and you have the law of the high seas, or more commonly known as maritime law, the law that governs anything that's out to sea. Um, and the reason you have these two basic uniform laws, the law of the land is more commonly known as the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code. And it was basically um, designed or created many, many years ago, like back in the 1930s or whatever, as a standard for countries or anybody who does any type of business transaction, gives or receives money for any type of business dealings, simply because you can't have a business in Africa doing business with somebody in China or Japan, or somebody in Japan doing business with somebody in Europe, and the what business in the other country worrying about if it's going to be paid. If Japan sends a bunch of cars to the U.S., they have to know that they, even though there's different particular laws for the United States and different particular laws for Japan as far as how you conduct yourself as a person in that country. As far as business and trade is concerned, the UCC is the law of the land, the commonly accepted laws that everybody must abide to make sure that everybody's getting a fair deal, that they're not getting swindled, that they can trust to do business with people from no matter where you are on the earth. So it's a very well accepted law. And then you have the maritime law, which is basically anything that is considered out to sea is governed by these laws in the sea. And that's kind of how the British found a loophole in creating basically making the United States a corporation disguised as a separate government. Um, with its own citizens or whatever you want to call it. So if you appear in the court and that flag is suspended, your constitutional rights are being suspended, and you're being tried basically in a British maritime military law. And two rules. The two rules of law are basically Roman civil law of the land. Its Latin origin is of civil or civili, and the UCC is the land in commercial business whenever you're dealing with anything on the water. And if you have and I guess what I'm trying to say, kind of like in the it's the UCC is basically the Bible of business on the earth. It is based on Vatican canon law under Roman canon law. When a ship pulls into a port, it is now in its berth. And this is kind of where the loophole comes in on how we're really employees of the corporation versus people under a government. So just stay with me here. So when a ship pulls into port, it's now at its berth, and because it's under commercial maritime rule, it of the seas. So when it pulls into the berth, the first thing the captain must do is present its manifest to the port authorities. What its weight, what its color, what its amount, what it's worth, how many items. And then so here's where the loophole comes in. The way they kind of pulled the bait and switch on us. It's all in how they word things. When you come out of your mother's water, you must have a birth certificate, the certificate of manifest. And because you are a corporate owned item, you are a human resource of the under the law of the high seas. It's basically a let's see. And then keep in mind that this law is like it was perfected. It was basically began in Samaria. It was perfected in Rome and continues to this day. It's a 1,000-year-old system, and whether whenever you send any product over land, air, water, sea, and you ship it, the ship pulls into its berth and ties to the dock. The captain presents the authorities the certificate of manifest, okay, and declares the products he has brought through a legal loophole. Basically, the royals created that U.S. citizens are considered property of the Queen. One could make the argument that the United States merely is the royalty's largest corporation, since we are born of our mother's water and her birth canal. These are the terms that they use to make it maritime law. I know it sounds so far-fetched, but you're basically, it turns you into a shipped commodity. Your mother's the mothers were delivering a product under maritime law. That's why when we were born in a delivery room, and that's why the doc signs your birth certificate. The doc, as in doctor, the doc, the the certification of manifest, and you're kept in a maternity ward. Why is it called a ward? And other areas of the hospitals are not called wards. Prisons have wards and wardens. The judge sits on a bank or sits on the bench of a bank. The banks are on both sides of a river. A river bank controls the flow of the current sea. You are you could say or you could say current sea. Current sea is deposited bank to bank down the river. We are just consumers to the basically we are just consumers to for advertisers. Like if you're driving down the expressway, you get down any expressway exit, it's basically a proverbial stream, and you get off the exit, what are you going to see? Ads, logos, and signs for you to go make small deposits along the banks. And basically, we are just human resources. We are just like human resources, um, to be used up like batteries. And I guess what I'm trying to stay on, I'm trying to stay focused here. So bear with me. And so you take the social engineering aspect of how I was just trying to kind of spin it all together. They're molding us into wage slavery. So like as a word citizen, it really means employee. The birth certificate must be printed on white and blue colored paper. It says it on the birth certificate. It is not an actual birth certificate unless it's printed on full color white and blue paper, security paper. And in the right hand corner, there will be a number with red letters. So you got red, white, and blue. The red letters have a SS number. The SS doesn't stand for Social Security. It stands for a stock exchange number. And that number, if you take that number, it's like usually a 9-digit number, 6 to 9 digits, and you go to the stock exchange and you type in that number, your number basically will bring up your name because you are a commodity to the corporation. You are worth money to the international bank that bought us back in 1930 when the Virginia company basically took the corporation headed by the British Crown that controlled the former colonies called the Virginia Company. It simply changed its name to the United States, and it copyrighted or trademarked all other related synonyms, meaning the U.S., USA, Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, federal government. The United States Corporation is based in the District of Columbia, and its current president is Donald J. Trump, which isn't it ironic that he is such a successful businessman that he can now run this corporation?
Yeah.
You kind of see how the lines kind of draw it in that direction if you really read between the lines. Comments?
Yeah, I definitely have heard this before, and it is amazing because, as you say, it's all in the wording. And I know
Yeah.
it's absolutely true about the gold fringe about an American flag. I'm ex-military. That absolutely means you're in a military. You're in a maritime law court, a military maritime law court when that flag's flying. So
Yeah, and if you're in one of those courts and you ask the judge to remove that flag, he will refuse to do it because he knows he's changing the law that the court must be governed under if that flag's not there.
right, absolutely. And like you said, we have a birth certificate. We're given a number at birth, like a shipping number.
Mm-hmm.
We're weighed. Our weight's put on there in the manifest, just like anything that's docked and birthed has to have the weight and all that on it. So, yeah. He said I've looked into that before, and it's definitely an interesting concept. I mean, and
I'm not saying I'm 100% bought in on it. I just think that it's worth
you can
paying
take the
attention to.
first. if it's true, you can take that red number on your birth certificate. I never tried it, and you are on the stock exchange. Well, then the rest of it absolutely has to be. You are a commodity if you're being
Yeah.
traded on the stock exchange. You know what I'm saying? So, but I've never tried it. I don't know if that's true or not, but it is interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, because what do you use that number for? Anything else? What is the purpose of the number then? Why does it even exist? And why does it have to be in red? And why does the birth certificate have to be on colored blue and white paper for it to be considered a legitimate birth certificate or manifest? And isn't it weird that it has to be signed by a doc? Sir, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of weird. And it's a certificate of birth, and then when a ship arrives in port, it's at its birth. I mean, those are really there's a lot of synchronicities there. What's the chat room saying about it? Hello?
Euler Greg it says it's an interesting theory, but rejects it. Eddie Von Keen said he's going to protest, dump some tea in the sea.
All right. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm 100% bought into it, but I thought it was definitely worth just bringing up on a Shifty Sunday.
And Stonebender says he thinks it's more of a technicality and legal sneakiness than a theory.
Yeah, that's kind of like where I'm leaning to.
You just joined us, so welcome.
All right. Hey, bro, you got any thoughts on the subject? Is he still here?
I thought he was, but you never know about the Hebrew. He's shifty one.
Yes, he is.
He's very shifty.
Oh, I was muted up. Crap. I just wanted to say it kind of makes me want to go get my birth certificate now and go look up all that stuff that's on there and see how much I'm worth on the stock exchange.
Yeah.
You know, Eddie Von Keen, I'm going to post that up there. taking a pee in the sea. Boy, that just about had me fall out of my seat last night when I said I'll be right back, and then Vivian goes, "Oh, he's going to go drain his lizard," and I just about lost it. I couldn't believe she said that on there. I was like, "Oh my goodness." Do you remember that? Sagittarically speaking?
No, I don't recall that, but that it does not surprise me. That does sound like something she would say.
She's definitely not afraid to speak her mind.
All right, so let's move on. I mean, that's pretty much all I really. That's all. I don't heavily buy into it. I just think that it's one of those things that make you go hum, and it's worth researching further. I mean, that's kind of like a brief synopsis. And anybody who wants to take it and look deeper into the subject's more than welcome to.
I tell you, like I said, I'd like to go back now and get a copy of my birth certificate and look into it and see what all's on there and see what what the deal is.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I think I really. There's a lot of times when I feel like most of America really just lives from paycheck to paycheck. I think that it seems like it's culturally engineered that way. That you're not really ever supposed to get too far ahead. And if you do, there's always some type of it's like to grow from just being, middle class, upper middle class to anything. It seems like there's too many obstacles preventing you from ever getting above that unless you're already above that. And if you're already above that, I mean, there's so many types of insurance and certificates and legal fees that it's almost impossible to stay above that. And until you get into like multi-millionaire, billionaire status, you probably wake up every day wondering how much longer you can hold on, Hold on to whatever it is you currently have.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in here real quick, and we got nearly 14 people in here. God's Armor, would you be willing to give the room a shout out real quick?
Sure, I suppose I could do that for you.
Oh, cool.
Let's see. We've got Red Shirt Blues in the house. Eddie Von Keen, the real one with a wrench. Oiler Greg. Stone Bender. Wascally Wabbit hopping around in the chat. We screw up, see who I'm missing. Ding. Robo Cub. He was in here early. Jocko R, of course, sporting a wrench. And SS, the first one to join the show this evening. Scroll back down, see if anyone new showed up. I think that's it. That's chatting anyway. Welcome, everybody.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty good. I know that you got one more thing to cover there, but and then we're gonna have call-ins. As I advertised here on you can see it there on the banner. I noticed there's a lot of people in here that were in last night's show, and I'd like to thank everyone for showing up here tonight on Shifty Sunday. And I see that Dave East is in the house. Thank you, Dave, for joining us. And what Stonebender's comment there? Wonder if that's a part of maritime law. Maritime law. I read that wrong. Maritime law. That's an interesting question, by the way. What would you say to that, Sagittariusly speaking?
What was the question again?
He's saying he's wondering if that's a part of maritime law.
What do you mean that?
Well,
That's what I'm saying. I was telling him he ought to call in and share it with us because it fits exactly what we was talking about. What he said was he was technically part of the Brazilian Navy and could have been called to duty if Brazil was under attack, even though he's an Italian from New York and never even been to Brazil because he worked on a ship that was built in Brazil.
Huh. Yeah, I would say that probably qualifies. However, I don't know for sure. But it sounds logical.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
There's a lot of things that come into play under maritime law. I remember when I used to work as a collector, we had certain people that worked on barges or on ships that on the river, like that delivered like the coal and whatnot, like those ship workers. Anybody who worked on a ship, even if it was just in the river, the Ohio River, you couldn't garnish their wages because they fell under some type of certain code or different law. So a code of laws that you couldn't garnish their wages no matter what. You couldn't do anything about it. They were exempt.
Yeah, interesting for sure. And like it is amazing that how the wording has their specific legal terms when it comes to maritime law. A lot of the wording that has to deal with our birth. So that alone is interesting.
I do now that I mentioned. I mean, now that I've read that, why do they call them maternity wards? And I mean, you don't hear that is kind of a weird thing to call it. You know what I mean? And you know, like you get in trouble, you're considered a warden of the state. You know, like if you're a child.
Yeah,
and,
or if
and you're getting put into the system, and they're going to basically, control you until you're 18.
right, or if you like your parents get killed in a circus accident or something like that, then someone comes along and you're a ward, you're their ward, like you're their you haven't been adopted by that person, but you're their under their care, you're their ward, warden of their care, and that's what a warden is essentially. A warden is like is supposed to be the under the care of the warden is the prisoners who are in prison are under the care of the warden. So
Hmm.
that's what I always thought it meant, like to be under a person's care or under the care of whoever, under the watchful eye. More in that case, if you're a warden of a prison.
Right, and
Also,
I don't know. I'll go ahead, Armor. I want to hear what you guys say.
I was just gonna say also under their authority. If you're their ward, you're under their authority. And Stonebender says it was a replica of the Nina the ship he was
Oh,
on.
really?
Man, that would have been incredible. I want to hear a
You know
story.
what? I think it was recently. I think these were recently released back in the early 2000s, late 90s. They released Columbus's actual diaries, the ones that he actually wrote in, like when he was on the Nina Pinta Santa Maria or whatever. And then he first came, when they first docked on the U.S. He was keeping a diary, and it would be interesting to read that diary and see how much he was really like. Because he was essentially an employee of the. He was there on behalf of the Queen, to conquest new lands. It's debatable whether he was the first one to ever really get here, but he apparently did make it, and it'd be interesting to see what he was writing down, and with the things he was putting in his journal as far as what they could do with this new territory and what kind of plans they had in store for it.
Yeah, that'd be something cool to read for story time if you could find a copy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would have been under, I think, Spain though, right? Wasn't he Spanish queen?
Oh yeah, Spain. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
What's that one saying that we used to have a long time ago? Is I don't care if you're the Queen of Spain. You get out of my store if you're gonna have that kind of attitude, buddy. You know,
I never heard that one. I
yeah.
thought it was the King of France.
It, well, yeah, I guess that you can use that one too. But I always heard like, I don't care if you're the Queen of Spain herself. You this or that or whatever it is, or maybe it was the King of Spain. I don't know.
No, but I also do think I don't know what it's like in other countries now. I mean, everything is so culturally engineered and so industrialized. But I know when I watch movies and people are driving, like in Europe, and they're on main thoroughfares and they get off of a main highway or expressway. There's usually a villa. There's usually a bar. There's usually a church. There's usually a post office. But in the United States, you get off of any expressway exit, yeah, there's a bar and there's a place to eat, but they're all corporations. They're all logos. It's all Burger King, McDonald's, Exxon, Shell,
Yeah,
BP. I mean, all you see is a bunch of logos and corporate trademarks, and you go and you pick the place you're going to go spend your money at based on you're choosing which logo you want to go give it to. Which service, which one do you want to spend your consumer dollars at? But you can't just not, you can't get off an expressway exit and just go to like a mom and pops. I mean, there's not a mom and pops um,
no, but
restaurant. There's not a local. You can't just go hang out with the local people that live there. You don't unless you're going to go talk to the McDonald's employees and ask them how their town is doing. I mean, they look at you with like you got three heads.
right.
It's just there's no sense of community in any community anymore. It's
Nope.
all just which corporation do you work
Oh,
for? Oh, it
corporation.
just doesn't seem like there's a real sense of community anywhere anymore. It's all about corporate. I mean, everything is corporate.
Yeah, it's all code corporate greed. It all started out with places like Walmart and other places like that, like Walmart, McDonald's.
Hmm.
stuff like that. And they run all the mom and pop stores out of the business. You don't have any mom and pop gas stations anymore. You don't have any mom and pop drug stores anymore. You do a few in a few of the smaller towns like we do.
Yeah, I mean the places that haven't been reached yet, but
Right.
they're slowly reaching everywhere.
We
It's
even
like a go ahead.
I was just going to say, we even still have a pharmacy that still delivers to the house. We have, you talked to me the other day about groceries that deliver to your house. And, that's the way it used to be a long time ago. And now they have where you can order everything online. You put in your order. I don't know if they bring it to your house or not, but they,
But if you was to order it online, you're not talking to somebody local. You're calling a call center in a
right,
centralized location that serves, an eastern part of the country or a southeastern part of the country. They may or English may or may not be their first or second language. I mean, it's just there's no. You're not going to call. Hey, Dan, how's the wife and kids doing? Yeah, I need to order some parts for my truck. It ain't like that. You go
no,
online and you click on the image for the parts, and they come from somewhere unknown.
yeah, that's the truth. And everything is, what do they call it in where it's overseas, insourcing, outsourcing. Everything's all outsourced anymore. Like you can't get a part that was made here in the USA. You can't find an original, like if you wanted to, let's say for example, buy a refrigerator or an air conditioner or a washer, dryer, or a television set, or any of those things. None of those things are made here in the USA locally, and they're all outsourced. And so, I remember when we used to have TV repairman. If something happened to your TV, like you could just call repairman and he would come over and repair it. And nowadays, if you try to get a repairman come over and fix your TV or something, you're better off. It's cheaper just to buy a brand new TV than it is to have one repaired because number one, they have to get parts from other countries and stuff, and number two, they'll flat out tell you, you're just going to need to replace the whole TV. And
Hmm.
where do you even find a TV repairman anymore? I don't think they even exist. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. You might. I mean, depending on. I know Best Buy tries to have like their whole little geek squad, but I don't know what they cover and what they don't cover. But I know like as far as like what's probably the most important thing to a person's like if you have a family, the most important thing to your family, most likely your kids, right? And how do your kids get to school? Most schools in the United States uh, may still have. I know Cincinnati changed, and I'm starting to see it down here as well. But the schools used to have employee bus drivers, and the bus
yeah.
drivers worked for the local city schools,
Oh,
and they
sure.
had decent benefits. They made a decent hourly rate, and they were considered. They were somebody who lived in the communities where the kids went to school, and their own kids went to that school. So they had vested interest in those children, in
Mm-hmm.
that community, in their well being. Now these school bus companies talking about outsourcing, that you're getting things like Paul's Bus Service or Joe's Busing Company, and it's basically turning into a national corporation, and they're basically buying out, lower bidding the each school districts. Basically tell them that they will save them the cost on their transportation costs. They can pay their employees less money.
Mm-hmm.
They got bulk parts and bulk school buses, and they so everything is like lower costs. The school, cities cities are struggling, and there's a lot of deficits in all these medium-sized villas and communities, and they're getting suckered into it. But then what they're getting, they think they're saving a few $1,000s a year because they're going with an outsourced bus company, but now they don't have a bus driver that actually is a member of the local community. They're coming from, wherever. They may or may not even speak English. Once again, they are they could be from 5 counties away.
Oh
They
yeah.
may not even have
Well,
kids. They're just bus drivers for a living. They have they might even not have a last name you can't even pronounce.
right.
And the kids have no like set. They don't have any vested interest in that school or that community or that child for that instance, and they're not getting the same quality. It's not worth the few $1,000s that you save to lose that kind of integrity in your bus driver. That's just one example. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on.
Right. I mean, how many times has something gone wrong with your cable or with your computer, your internet service, and then you call the service provider or whatever, and it's not even, you get someone who's not even in the United States. You get someone who's in India or Korea or some place like that. You're not even, you call your local cable company or your local internet provider. They're not even from around here, even though.
No, but what's happening is people are choosing how to spend their money based on a corporate logo that they're familiar with, that is a business that they know that they can save a few dollars, but at the expense of saving a few dollars, you're losing vested interest in your own area, vested interest in people who are from where you're from, who know the people who care, maybe actually care about the same things you care about, and have, you know I don't know. It's just like everything is lost into a corporate logo. All the sense of community is lost into a corporate logo. It's no longer us, it's them. And which them are you going to choose? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep. Thank goodness we still got neighborhood bus drivers that grow up around here and all that in our little community. So, but yeah, I know what you mean. I see it in the cities when I'm driving around DC and all that. You see all the school buses. That's exactly what they say, like, Bob's Bus Line or whatever. It's a corporate entity now. Hey, Jenny Bertie in the house. Chaos Reality popped in.
Oh, cool.
Welcome.
I like Jenny and Chaos
Like,
Reality.
Which kind of like leads me into the next thing I wanted to say. And
Lead you to the next segue, eh?
before
yeah,
we the subject, Stone had an interesting comment, which I
all right.
much agree with about the Columbus thing. Let me roll back up and start at the beginning. He said he thinks Columbus knew where he was going, and his role was to pretend to discover the New World. And I agree. And he also says all kings and queens were connected and knew Vikings who were in brotherhoods also. And the Vikings knew where everything was. And that's absolutely true. The Vikings knew where all the continents were. So,
Yeah. And I mentioned that Virginia company. The Virginia company was really heavily based on a fur trade, and there was a lot of like fur trade was like the biggest commodity that people bought and sold back then. It was basically furs or spices. People were interested in spending money on fur or spices.
yeah, and
And
some places were big bucks.
mm-hmm. And coming here, they all the little animals, the rabbits, the foxes, the wolves, all these different animals had nice pelts, and they were worth a lot of money. And when they hit these shores, the Virginia company saw big dollar signs. I mean, they didn't have envisions of the industrial revolution of building cars and railroads just yet, but they knew they were going to. They knew there was a lot of pelts to be had, and the only thing standing in their way from conquering it all was, the natives on the land who happened to be quite well versed on how to hunt and gather pelts. So they used them at first for what they needed them for, and then they quarantined them off into, you know how the rest of the story goes.
Yeah, give them some smallpox and move along. But that, and that's absolutely true. Even when I was a kid growing up, and no, it wasn't before World War II, satirically speaking, by the way. But when I was a child in the early 60s, mid 60s, well, not that early because I was a baby then, but mid 60s, late 60s, when I was old enough to get about, we still trapped, and we did get good money for the furs even back then. I mean, fox and coon and muskrat. And so, yeah, the fur trade was a booming part of America for a long time, even my lifetime. But it dropped off quite a bit now. And there's still people that trap, but not like it used to be. I mean, back when I was back in the late 60s, mid late 60s, early 70s, trapping was quite a big thing. A lot of people did it to bring in money.
Yeah, that's interesting. How it's weird how you guys bring up that point, because the other night I was watching a channel on YouTube, and they were talking about how our economy is now compared to what things used to be, and they were talking about the Star Trek economy and how in the year 24 something whatever, people don't have money in the future, and they do like they did back in the past, and they just trade everything. If you don't have something, you would trade for this, for that. Like he would trade, like back then it would be you trade your furs for some spices, or something like that. They didn't have the gold standard, or they didn't have the money, paper money or anything like that. And then the economy eventually started getting like gold coins and paper money and stuff like that a lot later. But I mean, like, well, I guess they had the coins first, and then, but I mean, like the Bitcoin or whatever you call it. But it's interesting how you guys was talking about the trade services, because of what I was watching. And be kind of nice if we did that nowadays, but we wouldn't be able to get by with that, because you're not always going to have something to trade what the other person might want, and vice versa. So you're going to have that in between, something to give them so they can get what they want. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I hear you. And really, what I see happening, if the corporations get their way, eventually they won't even give you a paycheck. You'll just earn, quote unquote, what they call social credits, and it'll be credits that you can use for something that is considered a luxury item, and they'll accrue so slowly, like they do in video games. Like, you have your like in any video game you play, you can get coins really easy, like for the basic stuff that's not all that necessary to actually win the game, but just to kind of keep you playing. But the actual gems, or something that actually greatly improves your status in this game, makes you a much higher rank or much higher tier player. That actually costs real dollars. You can accrue those things slowly over time, or you can whip out your credit card and rank up real fast. But you'll get these credits, which will be equivalent to coins, and you can save them up slowly over time and cash them in for luxury items, and everything else will be like basically like socialism. You won't really have to pay hardly anything for toilet paper, because that's a necessity. Your lights will stay on, but it'll be governed how much electricity you can actually use. Water will be Your piped in water will be next to nothing. However, there'll be a limit on how much you're allowed to use as a citizen, how much social credit you have. If you're higher rank wealth in the government, if you actually work, for the military or something, you'll get a bigger allowance. If you know, and if you have more kids that are, if you have more children, you'll get a slight bump up because they know that more children are going to need more showers, and they don't want your kids going to school stinking or anything. But as
No.
far as how wealthy you will be, you really won't have a way to accumulate wealth unless you save up these quote unquote social credits slowly over time. I really do see a day when that's coming.
Speaking of showers, you just reminded me. Sometime tomorrow, I'll be getting a hot water heater finally. So,
Well,
I'll,
good for you.
yeah, I'll be able to take those showers that you speak of.
I'm sure your wife will be quite grateful.
that's
Hey,
you should mention that because she was just in here. Um,
Well, she didn't stick around long, huh?
kid to
I'm
bed.
just teasing.
No, oh, very funny. Very funny.
She said, "Smell you later."
Right? Yeah, I wouldn't blame her. But hey, no, you also reminded me. I forgot to mention at the start of the show because there was so much chaos going on about a new morning routine that I'm going to start, and I'm going to start working out again. And my morning routine, I want to mention this. You already know about it, but I want to mention it to armor up. Here's what you do. All right, you get up early in the morning, and then or it doesn't have to be early, but you get up whatever time you get up, right? And then you have 6 raw eggs, 2 chicken breasts, and a glass. You have that with a 16-ounce glass of milk, and then a about 14 cups of coffee, and and then and then you're ready to start your day. You start your workout after that, and that's a good workout starter. It gives you plenty of.
So no protein shake in the mix.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention you got to have at least a 12-ounce protein shake while you do
All
this.
right.
You get plenty of protein, and the coffee gives you all the energy you need for that 3-hour workout that you have during your day.
All right.
So it's a very good routine. Now I'm going to start making videos about the routine, but the whole eating part was just something I threw in there just for laughs. I'm not really going to eat like 6 raw eggs, but
I thought the 14 cups of coffee was the part that was just for laughs. I'd really like to see you on video drinking 14 cups of coffee.
Okay. Oh boy, yeah, that would be something, wouldn't it? I'd be going off faster than Gilbert Gottfried. All right, now I'm gonna do my workout routine. I don't know.
All right, man, you're cracking me up.
All right, well then I better stop. I don't want you to crack all the way up. You already got one of them.
Yeah, like 6 raw eggs. I'm cracking all the way up.
So
you're not gonna eat the 6 raw eggs.
Well, I might.
That was the most interesting part of the diet.
Oh, well, maybe I should do that part then.
Yeah, and play the Rocky theme song while you're doing it.
Yes. Do you think that it would be safe, though?
That's a good question. You have to take chances in life if you ever want to be successful. You know what I mean?
Well, sure, but maybe if it was farm fresh eggs, though, I don't.
Yeah, antibiotic. Cage free. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would trust drinking 6 raw eggs of anything less. And it's something that comes from the supermarket. I wouldn't want to take a chance of getting salmonella.
Well, you could just kind of get your own chickens, put them in your backyard.
Oh, you know what I could do? I could drink the 6 raw eggs, then I could chase those chickens.
Yep, that would definitely be a workout.
There you go. That would start off the whole routine right there. I just chase chickens in the backyard. And we've lost God's armor.
Well, I think that he's just I think he's just steering clear of this subject matter.
He's taking it all in. He's
Avoiding-
letting it soak.
I'm avoiding all mentions of workout.
Huh?
He's avoiding mentions of working out.
Oh, okay. I see. But,
Getting up.
All right, so you know the other thing I was going to talk about. I'm going to put that on hold for a little while. Let's go ahead. We're like an hour and a half into our show. Let's go ahead and do the calls.
You want to do calls?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's turn on the line and see if anybody rings in.
All right, I just put the number in the chat and the line is open. Let me get over there so I can see it.
Hold on. Let me put the. I've got the number here. I'll put it.
I already got it.
Well,
You can put it too.
right there. See? Well, now we both got it. How about that? You got it in the chat, and I got it up here on screen for people that can't see the screen for whatever reason.
Oh, you got it on the screen banner thing? Cool.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, I'll let you know if we get any bites.
We got Michelle's opinions in the house tonight. I would sure like to hear some of her opinions on Sagittariusly Speaking's topic he was talking about earlier. That would be neat.
She came in late. I don't think she got to hear it yet.
Oh, okay. I see. So.
You know the other. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was getting ready to say the other thing you were going to talk about. You know, you can kind of get into it if you want to, and then, you know, someone calls because I don't know if anyone's going to call like right away, like right now. You know,
this call is being recorded.
We just got a call.
There you go.
Do you guys not know how to mute incoming calls yet until you're ready for us?
We're ready for you. Bring it.
Yeah, we are ready.
We're ready.
I know how to mute you. We ready.
But you should set it up down there where, like, if somebody comes in behind me, like, they're muted until he's ready. Because what happens when, you know, we all start yammering and everything just gets confused?
Is there a way you can
what's all
automatically
this
mute them?
Eating raw eggs and chasing chickens. I think I woke up from a nap and I came in and I turned it on and I'm like, what in the world are they doing tonight?
Keep your
Last
workout.
night was very interesting with them, and then tonight it's like, what are you guys talking about?
You never know what these guys are. You never know what they're
doing?
talking about. You
don't know what I'm talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I never know what they're talking about. And I heard last
you
night
never
they
know
were saying I was
But you know what
World
the
War
funny
II
thing is?
age.
Because I only called to talk to you.
Well, that's nice of you.
I'm just playing. Hello, everybody. So, what was Sag talking about earlier that I missed out, or is it like should I just rewatch? Was it a long conversation?
Well, it wasn't that long, but I was basically mentioning how there's the possibility that the United States is a corporation of British royalty versus its own sovereign government.
Well, it is. We know that. That's why everything's in capital letters. We have social security number, we pay taxes, and we never own our property anymore. We're always paying. Where we used to be able to own our property and we had sovereignty. Now it's in the corporation and you're worth money from the moment you're born. There's a stock put out on you. So, you know, based on the population, that's how they value the country because you're a commodity.
Yep, you would have really enjoyed what I was talking about. I basically mentioned those very topics.
Oh, well, see, I was here the whole time.
Okay.
Michelle, right on point. Yeah.
But that's so far from the truth of what we really are. But that's what they would like us to believe, and that's what they turn this place into. But that's not what we are. That's not who we are. That's not what we're designed to be. We're so much more.
So the wild thing is, I just thought of this. Even Jesus even said back then that they've turned you into a commodity, basically. They buy and sell you. So yeah, it's been going on forever.
Yep. And that's why he flipped over the money changers and everything. He didn't like that they even turned those, back in that day and age, it was all about a commodity. And you're right. Exactly. Turn them into a commodity. Guess what I did, you guys? I know I didn't call in last night, but I was hanging out and lurking on you, chatting a little bit, but I went camping. And I know Armor Up knows that, I've been in a couple of accidents and the broken back and a broken neck, and then almost ended up in a scooter chair, and I was on a cane, and I was fitted for the scooter chair, and it was free. And it was one of those ones that you control with a remote control with your hand because of the nerve damage was so bad from the neck and back injury. Well, last weekend I camped in a tent, no electricity, no water. Now we had restrooms that we could go to, and then with showers and stuff in them, but it was literally roughing it camping. Now there was a sink, a communal outdoor sink where you could take your dish soap and wash your pots and pans or whatever after you cooked. Now here was the tricky part. There was a burn ban, so we couldn't even fire up our grills. So we brought a generator. We fired up our generator and brought a little electric stove and an electric skillet for, whatever I wanted to cook or grill or whatever. So we weren't exactly hurting, but it was definitely tent camping, and I haven't done that since I was a little girl.
Awesome.
No, electronic, cell phones didn't work up there. We didn't get any service or anything like that. But it was absolutely amazing. I mean, we loved it. The people we met, it was great. I know you guys are getting ready to do the Mandela conference, I think in October. I don't think we'll be able to afford to go on another trip that quick, but it's so worth it to get to meet the people in person and get that closer of a bond that we're not just behind a computer screen. But there ended up being almost 150 people on this. It's a ranch, but it's a campground too. And it's up in the mountains, and it is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Cool. How did the meetup go? That was all part of the meetup thing, right?
Yeah, the meetup was fine. Apparently there was just one person there that just really didn't care for me very much. And, as we're understanding more about ourselves, and even like with the video I posted today with the water and how we affect water with when it shows that you put good intentions or love on water, it turns into a beautiful snowflake. But if you put hate or I don't like you or things like that on water, it turns into this ugly schism looking blotch, or you can take water that's in a river that's all sludgy and nasty, and you can actually convert it with good intentions and love into pure crystal water. Then this has been done through scientific experiment after experiment after experiment. Well, our bodies, which from where I used to come from, we were 70% water, but apparently now we're 60% water. The same thing would go with that, with when you're throwing your intentions and you don't care for somebody and you're just shooting hate at them, you could be affecting them physically. Now, and the same goes for love. When you're unconditionally loving somebody, they're feeling more joy and happiness and abundance in their life. It just just use the water analogy on that. Now, we as conscious beings can defend ourselves. That's why we're told to put on the full armor. So, just like your name, armor up, and take thought into captivity, because when you start to fall into those kind of trappings and stuff, you will be affected by the blows of it, because you've just stooped down to that level or opened that door to have something like that attack you or get to you, because you're not armored up and taking your thoughts into captivity. But I actually had to dust my feet from somebody that was not very friendly with me. And when I found out what it was about, it was so silly, and it was easy to dust my feet off and walk away, because it's so petty that we've got such bigger things going on right now, that something that petty, and to be that angry for over a year and just harbor hate for somebody over something so dumb. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to minimalize her feelings, but the hate that was directed towards me was like, what is your problem? And I tried to reach out and talk to her in private, and then with a witness. And then finally I did. I made a video calling it out, just like we're supposed to. Everything has a proper way of doing things. And instead of everybody hearing her story and the things she was saying, which were not true, I finally just had to come out and just tell everybody why I left early, what happened. And we only left a day early, though, but the trip was absolutely fantastic. And we were out there in a tent in a lightning storm that with torrential rain. And I wasn't scared or nothing. It was like this protective bubble was over the campgrounds. And have you ever seen horizontal lightning?
Yeah, it's crazy, ain't it? I mean, I
Yeah,
never.
like the cloud to cloud lightning type stuff, you mean?
Like not cloud to cloud lightning. I mean, lightning that starts striking down and then like changes directions and then goes horizontal over you. Like a bubble was over us of protection. Like we were sealed and protected. Lightning was touching down on the ground all around on other people's land. And the guy that owned the ranch talked to his neighbors that were around, and they did get some strikes.
Yeah.
We had not one strike down. And there's yurts, cabins. There's these different, like, they call it a triangle house or pyramid house, the way that it was built. And it had like 5 rooms in it, which, of course, they were going to fare a storm better than we would out in a tent. But our tent completely lit up, and then the thunderclap. But we're looking at the lightning, and the lightning is going horizontal above us. We had no strike downs, because I said to my husband, I said, isn't there like these rod pipes holding this tent up? Am I going to have a perm in the morning is basically what I was trying to ask. My hair going to be all curly? Am I going to be smoking at my fingernails and getting hit by lightning? But it went horizontally over that area. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Noble.
Yeah, Noble in the
Yeah.
chat. Welcome,
Yes,
Noble.
it does show in many ways. Oh my God. We saw purple beams of light shoot down. This was during the day. Shoot down from the day sky. There was 4 or 5 beams of purple light that were pretty solid, and we couldn't tell where they started, and of course they ended when they hit the ground. But I mean, there was just, oh my gosh, anomaly after anomaly. What they're talking about, where we went to, I would call it a thin spot. And they're talking about these different locations. How Egypt has the pyramids, and they are like sacred ground to them. And blah blah blah. We're hearing that could have been ways of actual electricity or free energy for the area and things like that. Well, they're like vortex areas, thin spots that are here where the unbelievable happens. Things you wouldn't see normally, you're seeing. And if I didn't get captures of it, I'm going to be making a video of some pictures that we got.
Awesome. I was
If
going
we
to say,
didn't get
please tell me you
pictures
got some
of this,
pictures.
I wouldn't have believed it myself. I would have talked myself out of it by now. I would have said, no, it's not that. No, no, no. It's not possible. No, no, no. But we got pictures, and it's hard to talk yourself away from actually having the images. We saw it, we were there, we felt it, and then it allowed us to capture pictures. So it was pretty cool. And everything was benign. Like nothing was malevolent besides that one lady. I mean, we carry our own energy in. When we carry our own energy in, onto his property, he can't be responsible for that. And, when we're harming each other, I just think people need to be more aware of what they can do with their words and what they can do with their intentions. And when it's not reciprocated, when you're full of love, you can feel the energy. But if you just love them back, I'm not saying you have to be best friends with them. Kick the dust off and walk away. That's what I'm doing. But somebody told me something really interesting today. It's like when they send you something negative like that, just like with water, it's like sending out a black crow. Okay. Well, if the black crow comes over and there's not a landing spot, meaning you don't feel the same way and don't want anything but the highest good for that other person, the black crow comes back with two of its buddies to the sender. So that was just something interesting that somebody has said, and kind of like karma, and it kind of talks about things like, Christ said, don't return hate with hate, dust your feet off, and just, if they're not going to welcome you, just dust your feet off and walk away, because you don't need to stoop down to that level, or you don't need to be hurt by somebody else or anything like that. But otherwise, that place is absolutely magical, and I definitely am going to go back. But I think I'm going to try and stay in a yurt. They don't have electricity in those, but they're like little cabins, like tiny houses. And they have a little upstairs. So if you have children, it's got a ladder, and it's got like a futon that folds down to a full-size bed upstairs, and then a full-size bed downstairs. And then they have cabins. Then they have one that was called the Eagle Nest that has like a little balcony out where you can overlook the land, and you can see the mountains. There's a river. I mean, it was really, really nice. Really nice.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome, great experience.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad you got some pictures.
If you haven't seen I posted a video of the pictures that we took of all the people that were out there. It's just such a loving group. It's just, and if anybody sees them and there's a picture that, that they want for themselves, all they have to do is email me, and of course, I'll send it to them. So they, because sometimes the last thing you're thinking about is taking a picture with all this going on, but my husband was pretty good about taking pictures and capturing things.
I bet
But I mean, when it comes to stuff like that, though, the pictures never do it justice. It's not the same as being there. You know what I mean?
Oh no, that's what I was saying. And anybody that has doubt or anything, I heard that. I guess there's people that say this place is a cult or whatever. It is not a cult. It's a campground. It's actually his ranch that he opens up from Thursday until Monday at noon and allows people to come out and enjoy the land. Now, there's no drinking and no drugs allowed, which makes it family friendly, which is nice. I would prefer not to be around a bunch of people, drinking and carrying on, because they could party all night, and in a tent, I'd get no sleep. You know what I mean? So, so everything that was seen, felt, or experienced was of sober mind. So it was really interesting. So anybody that, has doubt or something or questions it, either they haven't been there or they need to go there and check it out for themselves.
And let me just add,
highly
Chaos.
recommend it. It's called ESETI in Washington, right next to Trout Lake. Right, like 20 miles, maybe 30 miles past the border of Oregon, heading north into Washington. Beautiful place. Beautiful. But so is Oregon. Don't get me wrong. When we drove through Oregon, seeing all the forests up the trees, and I heard Mount Shasta is another thin spot. So we're thinking we may want to go and camp in that area too. That's a little closer to us, but yeah, it was wonderful. And then you can get a hot breakfast also. So they cook hot breakfast there. It costs a little extra, with your camping. But realize when you go into any campground, you're going to pay a lot space or whatever. They even provide the tents, and the air mattress is like a full bed. It's not like an air on the ground. It's like getting into a full-size bed, like, where your bed is now. And then all the blankets and the towels and the toiletries, and it's very nice, very nice. And then they had the hot breakfast every morning. So, one meal out of the way. And so you didn't have to worry about cooking that. So you can enjoy more of the park or the ranch. I'm sorry. There's animals. There's all kinds of baby deers that are walking around there, and they're so friendly. A snake went right in front of my feet by the fire pit when I was wearing sandals, and I don't like snakes. And he just slithered out in front of me, and then he looked around the corner at the other people that were on the, around the fire pit. And then he turned around and looked at me, and I said in my head, I really don't like snakes. Please don't turn around and come back this way, because he was coming back my direction. And he reversed and went the other direction and went into the woodpile. So even the animals are responding. It's just a really nice place. So whatever your flavor is, you'll find it out there, like whatever your interests are. They had basketball, frisbee, that, different sports activities and things going on. And like I said, the animals, and kids love petting all the animals. And yeah. Okay. Enough about me. What's going on with you guys? Did you hang up on me?
No, I don't know what happened to that.
No, we're here. I
I
was on mute because I was listening.
Yeah, I was finishing a Kit Kat bar without the dash. But
break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. That's funny, because I brought 130 full-size candy bars and candies like Skittles and peanut M&Ms and bags of M&Ms and stuff. But you get it like Sam's Club, and I set them in different areas, because that was another thing. Most of the people brought gifts for each other, and we were throughout the weekend exchanging gifts of artwork, stones. I brought candy, and I couldn't believe they ate it all up. They ate it all up. All those vegetarians and stuff, and I'm not. I just eat. I'm a seafood eater. By seafood, I eat it. But they ate all that candy up. It's gone.
Oh, no one can
So
resist
everybody has
candy.
a sweet tooth.
More.
Hey, I want to read Chaos Reality through Romans 12:20 in the chat.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to read 12:20 and 12:21 because it's perfect with what Michelle was talking about and basically what she did. It says, but if thine enemy hunger, feed him, and if he thirst, give him to drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. So that's basically what we do.
It's pretty much what happened. Yeah. But yeah, leaving food out in there. Yeah. It was nice. It was a really nice thing. And are any of you guys going to the October Mandela conference?
I didn't even know it was happening. Where is it located?
Me neither.
I'm not aware of it.
Dark Wolf has been posting on it, and he's organizing it. And hang on a minute, let me shush my dog up. You go outside or be quiet. You make up your mind right now. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Okay, I'm putting him out. If you bark, you're going inside the house. If your bark is pitchy. She's went, dog. Okay, sorry about that. Dark Wolf has been putting it up, and I guess he's got guest speakers and stuff lined up for it and everything. I've seen a couple of his posts on it, and I know it's in October, and she did it. She broke Mama's rules. 1 moment, please.
Yeah, I doubt if I'll be able to make it. I've been working so darn much, but
Don't. She ran under my car. Oh, she's being a brat.
it's probably
Here,
in the
Puddles.
Midwest somewhere, Texas area or something. If Dark Wolf's doing it,
I don't know. I'll have to look. I know he's done a few announcements on it on his channel. So Dark Wolf's Den. Not hard to find. When I get off the phone here, I'm Blue. I can put the link in there if you want me to, Hebrew. And so that way, if you guys are interested in going, it's just too close, you know, because driving up to Washington, that was the biggest expense. Because we had to stop at a hotel on the way up because it was a 2-day drive, you know, with the gas and everything. And there's no way with everything that you guys know I've been through and all those expenses that I could afford another trip. And if this one wasn't so on the cheap, like to stay on the grounds, the camping was so inexpensive for everything that we got, and it's just it was more affordable. Where I think the other one is at a hotel. Now I think he's getting a group discount for everybody. So you know you
Sorry,
go in with the group, but it probably wouldn't be enough that, and plus the drive to it and everything. But I'd be interested because the benefit I get from it is meeting everybody. I love to meet everybody in person.
Yeah. Michelle, I'm sorry. I didn't catch where's this happening again?
I think it's in October. I was asking you if when I get off the phone, if it would be okay to post the link to it in your chat stream for everybody. If they're interested, then they can go check it out. But I don't like to post links and stuff without asking the channel owner. You know, I know I'm Blue and I can do that, but I don't like to do it without asking you first. So if you're wanting it, I can put it in there for everybody to go and check out if they're interested. But I think that although it's a Mandela conference and that there's going to be guest speakers and everything, you know, a lot going on, I think the get together part is going to be the part. Well, like for me, that would be the best part, is people that enjoying meeting the people in person and getting it just makes the relationship so much stronger.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you can post anything you want in here anytime you can. No problem. You got
Okay, I didn't know you guys hadn't heard of it. He needs to put it out there some more. Maybe we need to get it out on Twitter and start sharing it out so more people can attend and go. And because I know he works a lot and he doesn't have the time with his channel, but I know that he's announced it. He set up a site for people to register to go, and there's a $10 registration fee, and then all the information there with all the discounts at the hotel and all that he's been the one that's doing all the legwork. So yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know. If it's in my neighborhood, you may see me pop in there. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, it's probably too far for me to get to with my work schedule, but I'll definitely
Yeah, I
try.
would say I probably couldn't go that far either. I'm all the way in Florida. That would be like a 3 or 4 day road trip.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking it's in Colorado.
Well, that'd probably be a whole week.
that leaves me out.
I'm trying to think where he lives, and I think it's close by where he's at. Because when you're making arrangements like that, you want to be able to go in, inspect the rooms, inspect the conference room, you know what I mean? You want to be able to be hands-on with what's going on and not just trust what they show you on the internet. You want to see what you're getting and how many people it can accommodate. But I'm not sure. I mean, so don't take that to the bank. But I will share the link for anybody that's interested in that. Yeah, to go and check it out. Why not? I was very pleasantly surprised at how many people showed up where at our trip. He thought 50 would show up, but there was other people on the ranch that just came in by themselves. But by the time the weekend progressed, they were a part of our group. We won them over. They were all visiting with us and sharing what was they were seeing and what was going on, and it was wonderful.
Awesome. Well, hey, I do want to let you know we have another caller on the line, so just so you guys know.
Oh, you're using Uber Conference like a smart man.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm very proud of you. That is the one to use so you can know when you have another caller holding. Okay, I will go get that link and I'll post it in there. I love you guys. Keep on chatting and don't make me laugh so hard.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much for calling in.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for calling. Thanks for the call. That was awesome.
Oh, all right, Bakersfield. I believe I unmuted you. What's happening? Sir, no, this is St. Louis, I believe.
I think you've got St. Louis.
This is St. Louis.
I know who that is.
You done found yourself the bottom end of Ditmer, Missouri is what you found.
Hey, Jason, what's up?
Oh, just another day. I actually had something I was going to say, but while I was listening to Michelle, what I was going to say. So you actually get to hear. It's a bad connection being on hold. I was able to hear everything.
Well, that happens.
Yeah, it does. And you know me, I can never stay on topic for more than 30 seconds anyway.
Welcome to the club. That's pretty much how I am, too. You know that.
I mean, even your bad habits are rubbing off on Armored Up. Now he finally gets around to posting the phone number and PIN in the chat. He said he was going to do that a half an hour ago, and he finally showed up.
I did do that a half hour ago. How do you think Michelle called
never
it?
showed up.
Whoa, Michelle
Never
seen it.
showed.
You need a new computer. It showed up here.
You can't
Well,
see.
the new internet carrier is what I need.
Oh. You can't see the banner. I've got it posted on the screen there.
Obviously, I got it on the banner because I'm on the phone, right?
Oh, okay. Well, I misunderstood you then. Okay, go ahead.
But no, I'm actually looking forward to what Michelle was talking about with the gathering. I don't know when or where it's at. Thank you for sidetracking me.
Who, me?
Deb's been in and out of the hospital, and she got out of the hospital about a month and a half ago after another bout of what they call sepsis, which is a type of blood poisoning. And now the poor girl's got dementia. It's enough to be concerning. But I got to tell you, some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth is hilarious.
Did we lose him? I don't hear him.
I can't hear him either.
Yeah, I think he was half in and half out.
Oh, we just dropped him. All right, well,
Who else we got? Who's up next?
no calls at the moment.
All right. I tell you what, Michelle's opinion, she always adds something good to the mix, doesn't she?
Oh, I always love what she has to say. Michelle is awesome.
I'm getting an echo. Are you guys hearing it?
Yeah, I can hear it. I don't know about Armor, but I can hear it.
See.
That's probably coming through my end.
All right. I don't hear it anymore.
It might have been coming through my end. I was muted up when you go ahead and talk now and see if it's still there.
Hello. Is anybody out there? Nope, it sounds good.
Okay, cool. Whatever somebody did or didn't do, fixed the problem.
All right, so you guys want to hear the story I have for today? It's a super short one. Literally only like a paragraph and a half. It kind of fits with the topic.
Oh, sure. It's your story time story, or is this something different?
It's just a short little story. Yep, you call it story time story. You can put whatever label you want on it.
All right, story time with Saji. Here we go.
Story time with Saji, my favorite part.
All right. Well, actually, there might be a second story, but this is the one I want to tell first. It's really short. It's called The Blind Girl, in parentheses, change. There was a blind girl who hated herself, purely for the fact that she was blind. The only person she didn't hate was her loving boyfriend, as he was always there for her. She said that if she could only see the world, she would marry him. One day, somebody donated a pair of eyes to her. Now she could see everything, including her boyfriend. Her boyfriend asked her, "Now that you can see the world, will you marry me?" The girl was shocked when she saw that her boyfriend was blind too and refused to marry him. Her boyfriend walked away in tears and later wrote a note to her saying, "Just take care of my eyes, dear."
Oh, that's sad.
Yes, isn't it though? But what's the moral of the story? Circumstances can change.
Don't
And
give
so
up.
does our minds.
Won't be grateful. That's the moral.
Yeah. sometimes you might not be able to see the things the way you saw them before. You might not be able to appreciate them the way you used to appreciate them. There are many things to take away from the story. That's just one that I thought of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it makes you appreciate what you have, you know.
Sometimes you might not be able to see the things before.
All right, we got Houston on the line.
I'd say.
Okay, yeah, that's.
Many things to take away from the story. Hello?
Houston, we have a problem.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. I'm right here.
We got you. What's
Hello?
happening?
All right, awesome. You on air or talking? At me or what's going on?
Yeah, you're on air, but you're a little quiet.
All right, I'll try to speak up. Is that good?
There you
Much
go.
better.
Better.
All right. So, going back to when I was a kid, when moved into a new house, there was my room.
You're very quiet again, and I don't want to miss what you're saying.
All right.
Who is the caller, by the way?
This is Michael.
Oh, okay. How you doing, brother?
All right. I'm doing all right, man. Is
Good.
my volume all right here? Is that good?
You're still mighty low.
I actually hear him pretty good. I think it might just be you, Armor, that's not hearing him well. How about chat? Can chat hear him?
Go ahead, then. Yep.
All right. I mean, I don't want to screw up the chat, so. You guys can hear me? Is this good?
I hear you. I was asking chat if they could hear you. What's chat saying?
We got a thumbs up from Chaos Reality, and Lorraine says she can hear him. Michelle can hear him, so go ahead.
All right, awesome. So anyway, when I was a kid, my family moved out of our house into the new house, and my room, we were doing the walkthrough to get the house, and my room, which was going to be my room through this walkthrough, had a lock on it on the outside, which I thought was odd. Anyway, they bought the house and removed the lock, and that became my room. So through the years, I grew up in this place, and it's ironic we're talking about shifting because houses shift. So doors in particular, you have to wedge them to close. So I'd have friends over, and you have to really close that door, wedge it in, and where that door is, and where the crevices are that they wedge into, and you do that. And as I mentioned before, it was weird how there was this lock outside of that door in that room. And they mentioned something about a dog they kept there, but that just seemed like something they made up. There was kind of an energy there. And anyway, I'm there for years and playing video games in my room. We would just like talk about how the door would just pop open, and it would pop open. It would swing inward, like, and to the right against the wall of my room. Okay. It's just, synchronicity. I don't know. House shifting, whatever. And then you have to wedge it and you put it back in. Anyway, there was a strange time where it changed. It started to, it swang to the right and out. It was different. And this is, I couldn't explain it, and changed again. And this is over the course of months. And I thought it was crazy. And I've always talked about this thing, but this new phenomena, you're talking about the Mandela effect,
just seems like a kind of a interesting connection to all that. And I was wondering if
Well,
maybe there's a phenomenon of energy and poltergeist maybe involved in this whole like shifting and energy and everything that we're not considering.
well, I gotta ask you a question real quick, and I'm just playing devil's applicant here. When the door pops open, is it whenever you're up and about, or is it just pop open out of nowhere? I mean, do you walk across the room or anything?
Literally, this would happen. It would sometimes happen on command if we were talking about it. Like, hey, it'd be funny if the door would pop open. Yeah, someone's listening to us, like it's an energy, and it would literally open. And because there was a weirdness about it. Like whenever it opened, it felt weird. You know, like how sometimes, like the word is wrong, like it feels wrong, but like maybe just different. You know, when something's different, you have that feeling, and it was just different. There was no movement or anything. It was literally just us, and I mean, it would just pop open. And when I talk about wedging this thing in, I mean you're wedging this thing in hard and tight.
Okay.
I mean, it takes some force to pop this thing open. So that's why it kind of like we just kind of joke about it and just miss it, but it was also very weird.
So there was no budging this thing. It was jammed tight then.
Yeah. That's what's extremely weird about it.
Okay. Wow.
And it's like a really cold feeling when it happens too. And sometimes it would be like when you're talking about it, and it was almost like, I don't know how to like I said, it felt wrong or it just felt different.
The thing is I have about doors is I know, and I'm not dismissing what you're saying at all, and believe me, I'm not. I'm just saying like chaos reality is left a comment here about the humidity, and you know how sometimes the doorways could swell, and it kind of would make them stick or loosen or whatever. I'm just throwing that in there. I'm not.
Well, yeah, but I think it's more than just the door opening and closing. It's also about this feeling, this energy, the
energy,
sensing of something else.
Absolutely.
That's a big part of it, right?
Yeah. And you would think if it's tight like that, it shouldn't just pop open on its own. If it's shut, if it's really tight, I mean, that's the weird part too. You know?
Yeah, to me, it sounds almost more. It sounds kind of paranormal.
To the other
That's
side.
what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
Wait, you're talking over the caller.
That's what I'm talking about. It literally inversed. The dynamics, the architecture of the door changed. At least.
Yeah, that's an interesting part. It started swinging a different direction.
Yeah, so instead of going in and to the right, now all of a sudden, like one day, it was going out and to the right, and it'd pop up and it'd just kind of like drift. And I remember very specifically because we'd be playing video games, and I remember that door just swinging and it'd be in my peripheral. Now it's out of my peripheral and swinging away, and it's different. And I'm looking at the door, and I'm like thinking about marking this. I can't really talk to my parents about this because you sound like a crazy person. And this was when I was a kid and in like the late 90s. And now I'm hearing about this stuff, and I'm literally talking about shifting, and it was literally shifting, and then now we're talking about like inverse parallel shifting, and I don't know, and there was a weirdness about like how it would react to like when we were talking about it is what made me think about the energy about it.
Right.
Do you still live in the same house or your parents?
We have the house is right now it's for sale. So it's there, but not living there. No.
Do you know of any history?
We actually did a ritual where we put salt all around the house and prayed to God to have the spirits lift, and it seemed to help. But I don't know if that's neither here nor there. It doesn't change the fact that things were swinging left and now they're swinging right, and the crevices are on the right and now they're on the left, and then they're on the right again. And I've never been able to wrap my head around that.
Yeah, I mean
or prove it because it changes.
Yeah, that's pretty hard. I mean, yeah, hard to explain, but fits right into Mandela type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt what you're saying in the least.
Yeah, nor do I. You know what? I mentioned this about a week or so ago. I don't know that it was on Shifty Sunday, so I'm not sure if you heard me talk about this, Armor, but I'm pretty sure Hebrew will remember. I woke up about a week or 2 or 3 ago, and I noticed a tree in my backyard that I had never noticed before, and I've living here almost 2 years. And so what I'm getting at is I used to doubt people. I used to be so skeptical when people call in with these types of stories. You're thinking, that they're just, that they're just missing some type of logical explanation. But then after finding a third huge tree in my backyard that is perfectly pruned, because I haven't pruned any, my other 2 trees need pruned so bad, and it's been stressing me out. I haven't been out there yet to prune them, and then this third, I wake up and I see this third huge tree casting all this shade in the back corner of my yard. And it's obviously been there the whole time, apparently, but it just recently popped up into my reality. So now, going forward, I'm never going to doubt anybody who ever has any kind of story, no matter how far fetched it seems. I am a believer.
I just wanted to make.
Just picture this kid in senior year of high school. He can't tell anybody about this shit, So he is literally me. I'm taking tape measures on my door on the inside and outside, and I'm like trying to make my own record of this, but I can't tell anybody. Right. I can't keep a record of this because it's crazy.
I got to tell you,
I know things are changing. Things are different.
I don't mean to interrupt you, caller, but I got to tell you, I wasn't trying to dismiss what you were saying or saying that I didn't believe in any way. Because let me tell you something. I've seen some strange things in my house as well. I was telling these guys about an incident that occurred to me a few months back when something come flying off my shelf. I didn't witness it, but I heard the noise, a loud bang noise. And when I looked over, I saw this thing laying on the ground, and it was fastened to a stand. And I was like, how in the hell did that just come off, fly? Like it was way on top of a shelf, come off the shelf and land on the ground. And the stand was still up there. So the whole thing didn't come flying off. And I was just like, it was in there real tight. I don't know if you guys remember me telling you that story. So yeah, I do realize that weird stuff happens. So I just want to let you know, I do believe you as well,
But that was kind of that was the weird connection I was making, because what we're describing sounds like it's like poltergeist type stuff, you know? And I wonder if like Mandela is somehow like a manifestation of that on a more like larger scale.
Well, if you consider poltergeist like I do, which just, a spiritual energy, then yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that whatever's doing this is what I would consider a spiritual type energy, an otherworldly energy, an energy not from humankind. So yeah, I mean, when I consider poltergeist part of the energy, then yeah, it is basically the same type of thing, in my opinion. a spiritual type energy.
So that seems to be different than like some kind of computer simulation or this feels like just something more visceral, more
organic, I think is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, organic, or organic, more universal.
Right.
Like something from this, not something that we constructed in a lab or some alien constructed in a lab. This just feels like
yeah, we all kind of go with you on that. I mean, I think all three of us subscribe more to the theory of spiritualness being involved in there as any type of digital construct. We're not big fans of the digital construct theory.
No, I don't buy into it either. And I've said it before on other broadcasts. I believe all of this, what's happening, is spiritual by nature, whether it's but 11 or not. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad. I don't know, but it's definitely spiritual in some way, form, shape, or another.
And just be glad you don't live there anymore, and just hope for the next guy that he's able to figure it out. I mean, I know it would be weird to leave a note or something, just say write Shifty door above the door or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Man, I've never heard anything like this. I've searched the web or anything. I haven't heard anything like this, even in writing or anything. So it's always been like something that's just like that. It's just me. I'm the only one that experienced this.
You said you had friends over, and you guys would start talking about it, and then so you had other people witness it besides you, so you're not crazy.
Well, right, but I mean this particular spot in my house and me, like there's no evidence of this being like a recurring phenomenon, which is, but it's so similar to like everything that's popping up now that you guys are talking about in your show, which reminded me of it. I just I don't know. It's just kind of struck me.
I think a lot of us. I think
there's not a connection.
We kind of come to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying maybe there's connection, but maybe there's not a connection. I don't know. Maybe, but it feels like when I heard it, it felt like it was connected.
I'm with you, and a lot of times, and especially if you watched any of these movies, or even if a lot of times when you hear us talking about the Mandela effect, we're trying to figure out what the message is or what the point of it all is, or how it's all connected, whichever way you want to look at it. So, I mean, maybe there was some type of meaning to it. Maybe there was a message, and maybe there was something it was trying to point out to you that was, maybe there was a point to it, but obviously you never put it all together, so it's going to have to remain unsolved, I guess.
I just got something wild. I don't know, but I'm going to share it because this just blew my own mind. The fact that the door swung in, and then in your reality and yours alone, the door started swinging out, like your parents didn't see it or nothing. Maybe the message is that the way in is the way out. Because that's exactly what I believe as far as spiritual goes. It's all about changing us, changing our inside. So I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with, maybe not, but it just blew my mind. I wanted to share it. The message I would get from that is the way in is the way out.
That's very deep.
Yeah, this is literally the only way in and out, unless you take the window. It has some windows, but that was the door. There's only one door.
Right, but it swang in and then swang out, meaning the way in leads to the way out. Basically, if you know what I'm trying to say.
He means more on a metaphorical level than literally.
Not the fact that it's the
No,
only way in and out.
I get you. I get you. I was being a little funny, but I thought it was really odd that they had it locked on the outside too.
Yeah, they're
They were
definitely.
trying to keep something from getting out.
You don't know no old history about it or nothing, because that is definitely interesting.
They were very shady about that. You know, it was like, I don't know, why did you keep a dog in there and have a lock on the door? That seems odd to me. That was their explanation.
I mean, look up the address and in the library, in the newspapers. Maybe you'll find some old story about it or something.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't have a padlock on the door for a dog. I mean, a simple slide lock would keep a dog in place.
Maybe even the land that it's sitting on itself could have some kind of history behind it. You know what I mean?
Now, I would think it would have to be more tied to that room since they specifically locked it. Maybe that's where, I mean, we could speculate all day on what may have went on in there, but not that the land couldn't have something to do with why they did what they
line
did.
going through the house. That helps you, but I don't think that has much relevance. But yeah, that was the only house with a lock, like on the outside, the only room with that lock on the outside. So it was just very odd. And it was the very back end of the house too. And my parents' bedroom is like just to the left of it. So it was just kind of very odd.
Well, I'm glad you shared it with us. Awesome. I think
thanks for sharing it.
Definitely.
I think it definitely ties in somehow.
All right, guys, have a great night.
Well, hey, thanks a lot. I hope to hear from you again. Thanks so much.
Thanks for calling. Bye bye.
Wow, that was interesting call, man. I like that call.
Yeah, that's amazing. And hopefully you don't feel alone now, because we may not have experienced the exact same thing, but it's definitely, part of what we experienced, this crazy shiftiness. I mean,
well, I tell you what was interesting.
You're not crazy and you're not alone. Believe me.
I'll tell you what was interesting when he mentioned that whenever they mentioned something about the door, it did that, it opened or whatever. When they even said something, it's like seems like there'd be something in there, whatever it is.
It definitely shows an intelligence behind it.
Right. Yeah. That's where I was getting at. But we still have a caller on the line, Mr. Armour.
No, we had Jason waiting, but he hung up, but maybe he'll call back. Lines are open at the moment. I just put the number back up. So
yeah, I mean, it reminds me of something I once experienced when I was younger.
Yeah, me too. But you go ahead and tell yours first.
All right. Well, I was probably about 22, 23. I wasn't any older than 24. I was in my mid early 20s, and my daughter was just old enough to go to school. She was in, I think, kindergarten, and my stepson, he was probably in second or third grade. And my wife at the time, that I married, was Catholic, and she's still Catholic, but we were not married. And she wanted them to go to Catholic school, but we really couldn't afford it. But we worked out a deal with the school where she would teach computer lab. And mind you, this is back in 98, 99, when computers still worked off dial-up modems. They were still kind of new. You know what I mean? Probably like Yeah, like the year, it was actually the year 2000. Now that I'm thinking about it, and I was going to school for computer networking. Like I was going to trade school, and I was really close to having my degree, and I needed a co-op, like some co-op hours working in the field to complete my degree for my certification. And so it was a win-win-win. She was going to teach the computer lab. I was going to install the network, and the kids were going to get basically next to a free tuition to go to the Catholic school. So part of the thing I had to do was run the wiring, and I had to go. The computer lab was going to be in one of the buildings on the out, one of the outbuildings, not the main church, like where everybody congregated. But it was an older building. It sat off on the land of over on the, I don't know, about 50, 60, 80 yards off to the side, and it kind of looked like one of those old time schoolhouses like you see on Little House on the Prairie. It was about that size of a structure, and it had a basement, and I had to run the wires across the basement of this building. And the only way you could get into the basement is through one of those double door things on the outside, like you see in Wizard of Oz. How they open like it's like barn doors, but they're opening at a 45-degree angle, and there's like stairs to go down the side of the base of the building. To get to the basement, there's no like stairs inside the building itself. Are you guys following me so far? Hello?
I'm with you.
Yep, I'm with you. I was muted up. And we do have a
Okay.
couple you're seeing it.
All right. So I'll brief it up real fast. And so I had to go down there, and no sooner than I got to the bottom, all of a sudden I felt like you see in these ghost hunter shows or whatever. I felt the chill of the air. Granted, it's a basement; it's going to be colder, but it was the middle of summer. It was like late August, but it wasn't quite September. It was hot that day. It was every bit of 86, 87 degrees on surface level. And there's no air conditioning unit in this thing. It was just closed up. They were just getting ready to open it up for the school year. And I pried those doors open. They were all creaky. I get down there, and I literally see my breath like when I get to the bottom of the stairs. And so that immediately I took notice of that. Then I started to work my way across the back. I was just kind of basically getting the lay of the land, looking at looking up at the floorboards and the cross sections and whatnot, trying to figure out how I was going to run the wiring with all this old, 1944 infrastructure. And all of a sudden, I got this weird energy, this weird feeling. The best way I can describe it is I was getting EBGBs. Like I just felt like I couldn't get out of there fast enough, but I pushed on. I got all the way to the furthest most corner on the left, and I looked into that room. And as soon as I looked into that room, it's like a flush of like air came out of that room, like somebody, like it was. Imagine this somebody took like a large piece of cardboard and fanned it in front of your face, like that air just came like whoosh right at me, and that was all it took. I could not. I turned around and tried to get out of there so fast I tripped over my own feet and fell on the ground. And as soon as I fell on the ground, I started panicking. So now I'm like crawl running, trying to get back to these stairs. And I decided I was not running the wiring in the basement, that I was going to do it on surface level. I closed those doors and I never went back down there again.
So you were like the one in the horror movies I'm always yelling at. Why did you fall, stupid? Get up. Get up. Run. Yeah, that'd be freaky.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, do you want to tell your story, or should we go to the caller and then you can tell it afterwards?
Well, my story's real quick.
All right.
Let me go ahead and okay, so we're sitting in my room, and this was when I was about 16, maybe 17 years old. We're sitting in my rooms, me and my cousin, and we were making one of our stop motion animation movies. We had one of those lights, those camper lights that have all the different settings on it and stuff. Well, this light had brand new batteries It had a brand new bulb in it. There was never anything wrong with it. Everything was tight and everything. And we didn't have it turned on. It was turned off at the time. And we were joking around when we were getting ready to shoot the next scene, and I made this noise. I went, and right when I made that noise, that flashlight came on. Now, whether that was a coincidence or not, it didn't scare us. It just kind of startled us a little bit. Where we're just like, "Whoa!" It was one of those moments where, whether or not that was the flashlight or a huge coincidence, or it could have been paranormal, who knows? But that was my story. So we've always talked about that since then. Just thought it was weird. So
Yeah, that's definitely wild. Rabbit says he'd always holler out if I was you, said, "Don't go in the basement. You never want to go in the basement." There's these simple rules of life that would make it so much easier. But anyhow, we got a caller from Bloomington on the line and also Denver. So
all right.
let's go to Bloomington and hold tight, Denver. We shall get with you. Okay, Bloomington, you're up.
Hello, it's Lorraine. How are you?
Hey, Lorraine. Always great to hear from you. Doing good.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a shifty thing, and I have to look up there's two different photographs I took, but it's just a simple one. There's a little field near where I work, and then it's like suburbs, And so they grew some either tall grass or hay or something, and then it was baled into hay bales that are the round ones that I call cinnamon rolls because that's what they look like, and so anyway, they were there, and I liked seeing them, so I took a picture. Then later they were cleared away and they were gone. And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, they showed up again. And I'm like, I've never seen hay bales get taken and then get put back. And it wasn't like there was enough time for any of that grass or whatever it is to grow and get harvested again. It was like a month. And it's not like I noticed, hey, that grass, it's growing up again, and then it's short. It was just stayed short the whole time. So that's it's just bizarre, and I don't think they're in the same spot, but I don't want to try to look at the photos on the phone while I'm on the phone, but I'll be able to tell you the exact dates. Whenever I look it up, I'll be able to tell you the exact dates I took each photo because that's the length of time that it took. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely interesting. I mean, here in Pennsylvania, they can do a hay harvest probably about once a month, depending on the weather. But you would definitely see it growing. I mean, it wouldn't stay short. But yeah, around here they could probably get a hay harvest about once a month if the rain and everything was just right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I didn't notice. I pretty much go by there every day, and I didn't notice it growing up tall again. It just seemed like, wait a second, these bales came back.
That's what's weird. You should have definitely noticed the growth. I mean, if it was growing fast enough in a month to harvest, it's obvious.
Yeah, I don't think I noticed that because that's what struck me as, wait a second, those were gone. Now, why are they back? Or why are other ones there that, I don't think it grew like that because I think I would have noticed that, but that's what's happening. That was it. I do have others, but I'm going to save them for another time.
Oh, well, cool.
Not that exciting, I guess. That's pretty much it, guys. Have a great night.
Well, thanks for calling in, Lorraine. Can't wait to hear another one since you're saving them for later, but that's good. That way we'll know you'll be calling back.
I've got one that involves demons, and I don't want to go into that right now. And,
okay. Well,
it's not as bad as you could imagine, but it's the only experience I've had with all that. So I'll do that another time.
Definitely want to hear about that. So yeah, do call back about that.
All right, have a good one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for calling, Lorraine.
Okay, bye.
Cool.
All right, Denver, you are on with Hebrew.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. Who do we got?
Michael from Aurora.
Michael from
Michael
Aurora.
Ruffin.
Cool. Thanks for calling.
So I came in late. I just wanted to be on the show, but I kind of missed the topic. So if you could maybe fill me in.
We're just kind of winging it tonight, but go ahead.
Yeah, we've had a couple topics. We talked about how the fact that America might just be a corporation and we all might just be currency. That's how we started the show. And then Michelle shared her experiences camping. And yeah, I have a feeling that's somewhat true, at least. And then we get off into poltergeist. And so we're pretty much any topic tonight. Share whatever you like to share.
Any topic. I'm here tonight because I'm a little upset about something. Just trying to totally forget about it. So yeah, great topics. Just knowing your little, probably poor phrasing of it. Your name on the YouTube. It's Hebrew. Is that definitely a He-Man reference? Correct.
Oh yeah.
You big into like Pixel Dan and all those people?
Oh yeah, I checked out their channels. I actually started out my channel before I did the Mandela Effect. I started out doing toy reviews, so I'm definitely aware of all those guys.
Yeah.
Great channels, by the way.
Yeah, I kind of guessed, but I didn't want to say anything because I was wrong. But yeah, so yeah, just throwing that out there. But how about Mandela thing? I mentioned something on Dan's show, little cough on Dan's show. But where I had little cough. I'm just upset with everyone tonight. But anyway, so I had an instance where I had taken my ex to a doctor's appointment, but we went to this place beforehand. It was kind of, it was near the Broncos training camp. It was some sort of ice hockey rink. They had this restaurant upstairs. Sorry, yeah, you can probably tell I've had just a little drink this evening. But anyway, she's gonna friggin' kill me for saying that. Why'd I say that? Anyway, so we went to this place and we went upstairs to the restaurant, had a quick lunch because her appointment was not long after, and we went up these stairs. There's a staircase, the steel and concrete staircase. I'm not an architect, but I'm an estimator. I recognize the staircase. We parked right by the staircase, walked up the staircase, went into the restaurant, ate, came out, and the staircase was completely gone. Completely gone. There was a staircase on the opposite side of the building, which we went down and walked over, walked back to the car, got in the car and left. But that staircase was totally missing. It was like something out of the Matrix. I mean, that was one of the crazier Mandelas to me, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting you mentioned that, because I've had a similar experience where I actually had a whole restaurant pop up out of the blue one time on the road that me and my wife drive down frequently. And what's weird about it is I recognized the change and she didn't. She acted like it had always been there. I'm like, no, that's new to me. God's Armor, do you have anything?
Just saying, well, I'm really sorry to interrupt. I'm new to
if I interrupted you, I'm
not
sorry.
Recognizing voices. I'm just wondering who this might be. Sorry.
Well, that one was Hebrew that was just talking, and I'm God's. I'm Armor Up. I'm Armor Up that they call God's Armor.
You're done?
Done? No.
All right. But no. Sorry, Hebrew. Sorry.
No problem. But yeah, that was my experience. A restaurant just popping popping up out of the blue. And I know Armor Up had a similar experience about a building or something, was it?
Yeah, that one in DC, that like totally finished parking lot, brick wall, fancy insignia in the wall, lawn, and a whole
How long
giant
have you guys?
building
Sorry,
out of nowhere.
interrupting again.
No, you're good. But yeah, that was basically it. And a giant 2-story building, just boom, done in a week. It was quite impressive.
That is crazy as shit. Hey, I just did it. I'm sorry, Hebrew.
No, that's all right, man. I mean,
like I've been into the ME for so long. I'm just wondering, how long have you guys been into it? Like I know some people who are into it like way back, you know.
I don't know. I heard about it. I ain't even sure how long ago. Quite a little while ago, but I don't know. Time's so messed up anymore. I couldn't even begin to guess whether it was 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. Time's
well
goofy,
said.
but
Well said.
it's been a while, but
So
I
well
really
said.
don't know how long.
You know,
Same here. It's been at least a couple of years for me now.
Ray. Yeah.
Oh, I was just getting ready to say.
Watch. Sorry, this whole timing thing is like completely off. I'm only hearing my phone, so I'm not trying to interrupt. I swear.
It's cool, man. Hey, I was just gonna say, for me, it's been like 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. It's been. I know I've believed in the Mandela effect for 3 years. I think I've only been making videos and live streams for about maybe 2 years. So I'm fairly new to it, I guess you would say, when it comes to the amount of years. I first started, you know, a photo helix, right?
Yes.
He's the one that inspired me to do all this. So that's how I first got started.
Well, that was a while back. You know, I don't know if you heard Dan's show about. I think it was a week ago. I've been noticing ME since I was at least in my teens. You know, it's the damnedest thing. But I started out watching Terran Lupo. Again, probably doesn't want his name out there. I think he deleted all his stuff that's not, you know, related to his current work. But Terran Lupo had some great stuff. Mandela affected. Scott Harrison, you know, I know they're both from the UK, but they had a ton of good stuff. And you know, I can't even think of his name right now. There's Uni Mundi, there's Vegan Warrior. They all had great stuff. There's one I'm really forgetting. He was instrumental to the early days, but you know, when I first noticed it, my ex, she was like, I tried to tell her about it. She's like, oh yeah, you mentioned this 2-3 years ago. And I'm like, what? You must be kidding. You gotta be kidding me. Like, I just noticed this. So, but, I digress. I mean, my ex was kind of horrible. I'm not going to stray too far off topic, but want to hear some other Mandelas that were personal to me? Or, I mean, you know,
Oh yeah.
I'm all.
Yeah, that's why we take the calls, to hear everyone's perspective. Yeah.
We do have another caller.
So, oh shoot. Okay. Well,
but that's all right. You take some time though. We're in no rush. Not trying to rush you. Just letting the panel know that. But take your time and share.
So like Interview with a Vampire. Almost all of Armand's scenes were cut from that freaking movie. Growing up in my teens, I was a little depressed, kind of like I am at the current time. But you know, shit, I sound fucking. She's got nothing to say to me. And I don't even mean my ex. She knows who I'm talking about. So the reason I'm drinking is because of, anyway. So point being, Interview with a Vampire, the name changed. I was up all night because of that shit. I was up all night. I was like, what happened here? What happened? You know, I saw it back when it happened. I was like, what happened? Interview with a Vampire, Interview with the Vampire. I saw it because I have DirecTV. No, I own the movie. I watched it over and over in my teens because, you know, I had a bout of depression, you pick one girl over the other, and then she chooses someone else, and then, of course you get upset. And, teen, whatever I had going on back then. But it's like, so I watched that movie, the name changed, and all of our Mon scenes were gone. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I don't know the movie well. I haven't read the books, even though I have them. At least I have first couple, but so I'm like, that's so weird. Armand Asante, I remember him being in this movie so much more. Sorry, just now seeing chat and don't think it's relevant, but I guess maybe it is. So like, I don't know. That was so weird with Interview with the Vampire. I was big into martial arts in my teens as well, and I was a fan of Steven Seagal, and his name changed. His last name changed, and I had watched Under Siege like every freaking day. And I was watching it on VHS like we all did back in the day. So I popped the VHS in, and I'm like, Steven Seagal, what the fuck is going on? My
There's
whole
no
life
doubt
I've
his
been a
name
big fan of
changed.
science.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on these. Just so you know.
Seagal changed, absolutely. I was a big Seagal fan too. His name definitely changed.
I in the Interview with the Vampire, I don't get how people can not remember that. Like that's one of the ones that is like so blatant and so obvious. I mean, nobody ever said Interview with the Vampire. It don't even make phonetic sense to say it that way because it's a vampire. I mean, it's not the vampire. I mean, it's just one of those things where it really irks me. But go ahead. I want you to finish your point.
Well, I'm kind of trailing off a little bit because I thought you said something else. But at the same time, the whole Star Wars thing, I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan. Luke, I am your father. That whole scene changed to me on more than one occasion. It wasn't just the dialogue, it was the scene itself. And I was like, what is going on here? I was confused, and I thought, it's Lucas remaking the movie because that's what we thought back in the day, and we all had VHS. And I'm like, he just redid this whole scene, and what's going on here? And I didn't even remember the dialogue, to be honest. I didn't remember Luke, I am your father. I grew up when I was born when the first movie was released, but being a lifelong fan, I remember the scene changed, but I have hey, here it is. I don't know if anybody's listening. I have a Mandela maybe no one's even heard about related to Star Wars. Anyone want to hear about it? Just curious.
For sure.
Go ahead, man. It's your show.
So Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. Okay. Oh my God, she hasn't even got back to me. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time because there's this girl that I really like, and I just got out of the worst breakup imaginable. I mean, I won't go into it unless you really want to, but I've been talking to somebody else that I really care about, and she's kind of dropped out of conversation, so I'm kind of like, So anyway, Return of the Jedi. It was a scene where Han he was on a spit, and the Ewoks are about to roast him up, and I think Luke was as well, and it was a whole big thing. It was like that they were talking to C-3PO, and they were like, telling C-3PO, am I making sense here? I know I sound like Fubard. Am I okay? Or
Hey, it's okay. Get it,
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm making sense because I don't want it to be all like. So Han and Luke are talking to I think maybe Leia as well, talking to C-3PO, and man, I am in such a state of mind I'm forgetting the dialogue, but it was something like, tell them if you if you do something, you'll use your power. Like, they're trying to elevate C-3PO like as a deity. But they were like, just tell them. And holy shit, I think she's buzzing me. I'm gonna take this, but I'm gonna lead out. I'm gonna finish up here. So, thing was, they were like, just tell them. And in the first version of the movie that I remember, it was a hilarious bit. It was the funniest part of the whole movie, Return of the Jedi. They were like, just tell them, and everybody was joking. It was like Han, Luke, Leia. It was kind of like a joke tone to 3PO. They were like, just tell them. But now I think maybe it's just Luke saying, just tell them, like in a very serious tone. I'm like, that's not funny. So I don't know if anybody's really vested in hearing that change, but hold on. But I'm going to see if that was her contacting me just now, because I do want to continue if it wasn't. So let me just check real quick, okay? Is that cool?
All right. Yeah, hey, bro, you're into the Star Wars.
Do you know what he's? Do you have any idea what he's referring to there, Hebrew?
I know the thing he means.
In my recollection, it was Luke and Han and Chewie.
Hello?
And I think that Luke and Han were tied up and getting ready to get roasted. And I think Luke said to C-3PO, he was telling them instructions to tell them that, because they believed that C-3PO was a god. And he was telling him basically, tell him that if you don't set us free, that we're going to do shit. I have to kind of rewatch that scene.
No, you're doing justice to this, dude, because I haven't told it well, and you're reiterating it very well.
But I know it was something close to that, and he was tell them if they don't set us free, we're going to do this or that to them. And it was at that moment that Luke started lifting C-3PO up. He was in the chair. If you recall what I'm recalling, he was in the chair and started to levitate, because Luke was using the Force to help him levitate, and I think that's what that's where they set him free, right?
Yeah, and C-3PO started freaking out.
Han, Leia, and Luke that said, just tell them. And it was in a funny, kind of almost loving tone, but now it's just super serious. It's not a funny part anymore that I remember. I thought that was the funniest part of the whole movie, really. But, looking back on it, oh man, I'm trailing off. If you want to hear me trail off, I'll totally trail off. I mean, but if you want me to stay on track with the MEs, I will,
Whatever you want to talk about, brother. I mean, that's why we're here. We're here to help. We're here to listen. You got a personal story, that's what we're here for.
Oh, man. Sorry, I was just thinking about my ex. She just messaged me, and I have to ignore it. It's killing me. I mean, my current, I guess you could say my current girl, but we're not together. She is busy at the moment. So, kind of, I'm shutting up because, I need to shut up about this shit. But the ME, I mean, just ask me shit. I mean, I had, when I was growing up, the park that was so close to where I live, I saw this, hey, throwing this out there, Lorraine, you got a cute voice, but the park that's by where I live, I saw this moth that was at least as big as a bird. And I'm like, I've been to museums. I haven't seen anything since that. And she's all, well, there's a moth like that now, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Dan, show me the same damn moth and I'll believe it, But I had so many weird personal MEs. It's just freaky. I don't know. And, I'm really kind of disappointed with myself in a way, because I could just go on about stuff, and tonight, because I was upset, I partook, and here I am, blowing me down.
Well, I mean, I don't. God's armor. What do you think?
Oh no! Okay, I'm.
I think he's muted up. I don't know. No, just I mean, just saying. We're here for you. Whatever you feel comfortable with sharing. We're not pushing you. It's not exactly like the phone lines are blowing up or anything. Is what I'm getting at.
Oh, I think we just lost him.
I think he had other. I think he was slightly preoccupied.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
sure, sounded that way. But
thanks for the call. It was interesting. We got Wichita Falls. Thanks for waiting patiently.
oh, I didn't realize we had.
Thank you. This is Connie Joe. Hi, Buckaroos.
Hey, Connie Joe.
Connie Joe.
A lot of my friends call me CJ if that's easier. So, can
there
y'all
you
hear
go.
me okay?
We can hear you just fine.
All right. I know I got a southern accent.
I love a
'cause I'm
southern
from
accent.
Texas.
Love southern accent.
Guys, oh my goodness. Well, y'all have so many topics. I have something on everything, but I'm going to narrow it down to two little things here. One is I want to tell you, y'all like these ghost stories. Well, I've got a real one for you. Now I've got this property that I'm living in right now. I moved in it in 1987. I bought it. It has a little house in the back. It's a one-bedroom house. It's about 400 square feet, so it's kind of big for a one-bedroom. And it has a room on the back that they're using as a shed. Now, the kids and I raised my kids in the front house. It's a great big old house. These houses were built in 1919, okay? So it's an old pier and beam house and with wooden floors and all that. And the front house has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a laundry room, a kitchen, a dining room, a living room. It's huge. And so when we were in there, and we moved in when my kids are about 4 and 7. And my little girl was 4 and my son was 7. And they had one of those old push button tape recorders, reel to reel kind of thing. Well, no, it was like a, not reel to reel, but cassette tape players. And they were playing around with it and singing on it and everything. And when they played it back, there was this weird, ominous voice that came across it. So they come squealing and running into me, "Mama, mama, mama, there's somebody on this tape." So I played it back, and right over the top of them was a deep man's voice that said very plainly, "Get out of this house."
Mm.
Oh my God. I mean, I played it for several people. I said, "Can y'all?" It was loud. And they said, "Well, do something." So I did a lot of praying, and we never heard anything else, but we did have some things moving around up there. Now, this house is sitting vacant up front. I'm living in the back house right now because I just got a divorce, and this was my property before we got married, so I got it back. And the front house needs some plumbing work on it. Underneath, the pipes need to be replaced. So I've asked my church before I move into the front house, after I remodel it, to come in and pray with me throughout the whole house, because let me tell you, I don't want any surprises when I get up there living by myself. But this really did happen, and I know it was something not good. I wish I'd have kept that tape recording, but I didn't. I just threw it away because I felt like it was possessed or something, So anyway, that's my ghost story. And then I've got a Mandela effect just this last week, a personal one. It freaked me out. I'm going to take pictures of these girls. I'm supposed to see them this week, I think. But there was a lady that I worked with at Singular Wireless. We were customer service reps at a call center. And there was a lady that I knew from back in 2002. And I've been to her house, met her mother, her husband, her family. There was not a twin. There was no twin. We talked for hours and hours and hung out together. There was no mention ever of a twin. So I go to this local social club here. and where I sing at, and they were there, and she came in, and all of a sudden her twin, exact duplicate of her, I mean identical twin, walked through the door, and I almost passed out. I'm like, what the man? What is going on? She goes, haven't you met my twin Gay? And I'm like, no, she did not have a twin. She did not. Now she has an identical twin. And I'm like, when did you, how come we never talked about this, and your family never talked about this? She said, I don't know, but she's always been there, and I don't believe it. I think it's a Mandela effect. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hello?
That blew my mind. Yeah, we hear you fine.
Wow, that sounds like
Girl, just mute it up.
Well, listen, every time that I turn around and look at the two of them together, I just wanted to like pass out. I'm like, oh man, this is not real. This is not real. Because, I know she didn't have a twin. I know. But now she does. And they look just alike, and it was just freaky as all get out. I mean, she's nice as they're just alike, identical. Speech, looks, everything. And so to me, that was a personal Mandela effect, because how do you just all of a sudden get a twin? I mean, you don't. And the last time I actually saw her was about 2009. So I think the Mandela effect started happening like around 2016 or maybe a little bit before. I mean, for me, it happened in 2016 when I saw those buildings appear here in town, and then they disappeared again 2 weeks later, big, huge buildings. That was, and my husband at the time saw them too, so it wasn't just me. That was in 2016. So for me, Mandela started in 2016. I don't know about you guys, but anyway. So anyway, that's my stories. I just wanted to share those two stories, the Mandela and the Booger Bear. Oh, one more thing. You guys, I had a big awakening this last week. I don't know how to explain it to anybody, but it's like when I woke up and I started walking around. Do you know how you go into a movie and you put on these 3D glasses and everything has more depth to it when you're looking through these 3D glasses? Well, that's kind of how things look to me now. It's not like I see red and blue like you do on the 3D glasses, but I see everything more in depth, almost like a 4D. I don't know how to explain that either. And I understand now a lot more about what's going on in the world, and I'm more aware of my own identity. I'm more aware of God. I'm more aware of, like I said, mortality, and how important what the important things are. And it's not the physical stuff. It's not what you have or what you and even what you can do. It's more about how you treat others. That's the most important thing. And everything you say, everything you do that affects somebody else is important. And it can change their reality and yours. It can go in a good way or it can go in a bad way. And and I know God's will, because I had a near-death experience back in 2001. I had vasculitis in the brain, and I was in the hospital for weeks and weeks and weeks. Had chemotherapy and steroids and all kinds of stuff, and I had a near-death experience, and I know they told me it wasn't my time and I had to come back. I didn't want to come back. But I know God is real. And you guys, just remember this. If I had any advice to give to anybody, it would be pay attention to what you say and do around everybody else. And if somebody's talking to you, listen to what they're really saying, because, sometimes we talk and we don't really get out what we mean to say, Forgive people. I mean, that man that's screaming and yelling at the clerk, scrappy or whatever, you don't know that his wife might have just died, or his dog, or he lost his job, or, and they don't even realize what they're saying sometimes. So just be forgiving and understanding of everybody else. Anyway, that's all I got. I just wanted to call in and share that stuff. Y'all still there?
Thanks a lot, Connie Joe. Oh, yeah, I'm still here. And thanks so much.
Okay,
And
good.
I know exactly what you mean about seeing things more clearly and understanding it's way more spiritual than physical, and every word's important. And welcome. Welcome to the awakening, sister. We need more of it.
All right.
Well, we got
All right,
this.
y'all have a
We
good
got
night of my
this.
lecture. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Uh-oh, he dropped out again.
We lost Saji.
Yeah,
Let me throw the number back out there. Phone lines are still open and no calls waiting. So
he came back in, then he just popped back out. I wonder if he dropped his phone again.
maybe.
I don't know.
Phone drop. He's out.
Right?
Yeah, that was awesome, Connie. Thanks so much for calling. Connie's awesome. I always see her in the chat and always got, but yes, great talking.
I'll tell you what. We've had some really good call-ins tonight, brother.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I did wanted to mention too, I forgot before she went off, but yeah, you did the right thing. Don't worry about that house or anything that may have been there. You know, you got the power. You know what you got now. You know what you are. Ain't nothing going to mess with you, Connie. So don't worry about no evil spirits. See, they hate light, so they'll flee. Just don't let them trick you. Take authority, put the runs to them. It's fine. Tell them to get out. You probably ain't going to have to tell them, though, because they see our light. They don't like it.
Well said. Well, hey, look, we're running into the 3-hour mark. Should we go ahead?
Should cut the phone lines, I guess. We ain't getting a call anyway, so that'd be a good time. We've had some awesome calls.
For sure,
Yeah.
man.
I got to get my Wednesday word done.
And hey, I tell you what, we've had quite a few of the viewers here tonight. If you want to do the final shout out, and then we'll start wrapping things up.
Absolutely. Hopefully, Saji can make it back in here
Mhm.
for the big finale, but we shall see. We got Michelle's opinion still here with a wrench, saying, "What do you mean we're done already?" Jocko R with a wrench, Euler, Greg, Chaos, Reality, Lorraine, Lamour, Taekwondo, Wesley, Webbit. Scrolling up. Who else we got? Truth set you free. Vivian was hanging out in here. Hopefully she's still with us. Cloned Hand Luke hanging out with us. Robo Cub, Red Shirt Blues. I knew there was a bunch more up there. All right, hopefully I got everyone. I know Jenny Purty was also here earlier, and Jason. Spencer's mustache stopped in for a minute. Always good to see the mustache.
Nice. Yeah.
Connie Joe Wood, of course, was with us.
Whoa, what the heck is that?
Dave East was with us. Give us a great show. Thumbs up. Thank you very much, Dave.
Check him out. Look at that, God's armor.
Who, what?
Look over there.
Oh,
to your right.
You got to remember, I was on the Uber screen. Oh, wait, I got to close the phone line. Hold on. Closing the phone line. All right. Now let me get over to our screen. Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was just a quick one. I didn't want to spend too much time browsing since I was missing the show.
So we can do avatars now? Awesome.
Yes, you can upload an avatar as you're entering the show.
I sort of like my angel out now, though. I might have to keep it. Oh, now see, Hebrew had to go do it. It's avatar dance time. I'm keeping my angel. I like my angel. What do you guys think? Should I go back to my armor up, dude, or should I keep my angel for a while?
It's your call on that. You're the one who represents your avatar.
Wait a minute. How did you do that, Saji?
When I was on the way in, it showed like right before I hit continue, it said upload avatar or edit avatar.
Let me try it.
But I'm on a phone, so I'm not. Mine's different.
Thanks for being here, Wabbit. He's hopping out. Much love to you and the bunnies. I love the
Yeah,
Wabbit.
so you know that rabbit. He's kind of wascally.
He's a Westley one, but I love him.
So I missed almost all of Connie's call. I was so disappointed.
Oh my goodness, it was awesome. And the end.
I could tell it was going to be, and I guess I'll just have to listen to the rebroadcast.
The final part was so wonderful to hear for me because I get it exactly. Welcome to the club. She is with us.
So I was trying to pour some coffee, and I dropped my phone again.
See,
You know, it was
did the phone drop. He must have did the phone drop. He's out.
Oh, but here's the worst part of it. It chipped my battery. So like right there where like the connector pieces are, so I had to kind of push it back together. The first time I put it in there, it said your battery cannot charge. Please insert a Samsung battery. So now I have a battery that could explode at any moment, I guess.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That would not be good. Well, I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I guess I'll just do it next week's show.
We'll
right.
you by then.
Huh?
I said
You might have to reboot your whole system in order to do it because it might be an update.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to do that while we're broadcasting, but we're getting ready to end the broadcast anyway. So what do you guys think? What are your final thoughts before we head out?
Go ahead.
I was going to say my final thoughts are, stay strong. Don't worry. Father got this. Wake up, figure out who you are, and join the fight because it's on. It's been on for a while. So get in here.
Yep. Stay alert. Pay attention to what's going on around you, and don't be afraid. That's what I say.
All right, cool. Well, hey, listen, guys, we had a really good show. I enjoyed all the call-ins that we had tonight. We had a lot of viewers tonight, and that's always good. Get the message out there to all of them. We had some new viewers, and I'm always glad to get those. That was awesome. And
awesome.
When you're first making phone calls and stuff, you're calling in. I understand you're going to be nervous. Like that last guy, you could tell he was real nervous. He had a lot on his mind, and that was probably messing with him too when you have a lot on your mind. So, and no, I'd say he did a pretty good job too. He was just nervous.
Yeah, definitely. And definitely pray for what he's going through, and, know that you got in the community here, and we really do care about you.
Yeah, and we're not judging nobody. Everybody's going through it in their own way. We all are here for each other.
Judging ain't my job. That's Jesus's job. I try not to do that. I don't take that righteous judgment. So ain't quite what people say. So yeah, there ain't no judgment here. Come in, share, but know that you got a community and you're loved, and don't let it get to you, man.
Absolutely. Well said, sir. Well, I guess we all have stuff we have to do, places we have to be. So until next time, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and tune in next time for another Shifty Sunday, same Shifty Sunday channel, same Shifty Sunday time, and we are out of here. Good night, everybody. Let's see, hit that button right there. And maybe next time I'll remember the name of the show, by the way, just saying.
Maybe, but don't get your hopes up.
Okay. All right. Goodbye.
You remember your own name, let alone the show's name. Said you don't even remember your own name, let alone the show's name.
Oh, well, that's true.
All right, man. We love you. It's cool. You're our comic relief.
Right.
Like C3PO.
Yeah. Yeah, you're our C3PO.
Oh, I guess I better hit that end broadcast button. We're still live, huh?
That's the bonus footage. If you
There
buy
you
the
go.
DVD, you get the bonus footage.
Behind the scenes. All right. And goodbye, everybody.